see. What? Don't tell me you're locking the Varus.
Red 5 Varus,
Okay,
alright.
alright, they get it themselves. Now, normally I hate Varus into Vi Rumble, Vi Talia, and it's okay versus the MF because you deal with them in lane. Because you have the Galio ult, I feel better about it, because the Galio ult gives you that magic shield to feel a little better about things. But I'm trying to think actually whether it's going to the on hit or the poke. I think it should be the poke, but Leave really likes the on hit, and if you have the Galio ult to help you disengage, there is the Rel Vi that you can turn around onto.
And I do get that the poke variant, for all your safe in standard play, the moment things like flash ult start coming in from Vi, you know, from Rel, Talia pressing R, your range doesn't really keep you safe anymore.
Yeah. So folks, going to put on 1 minute of adverts onto the Twitch stream if you're on the other.
Let's have a little look at the skins. Onto the Rift we go. That means we have some Gyos to listen to. So, now that the crowds are done yelling at each other and their players, we can get ourselves ready for what will be a very important series, really. FPX have been on an upward rise, rising from the ashes of Split 1. I suppose very appropriate considering they're the Phoenixes. The addition of Shadow over Sorrow really helped center, align this team. They're a lot more like a team now, rather than a lot of players who looked a little bit lost. It's not perfect. There are issues. Care has been very streaky. Sheer sometimes feeling a bit exasperated about what the hell is happening on the rest of his map. But when things start working, Shadow and Dway in particular have been really, really exciting to watch. On the other side, NIP, after a really good Split 1 where a number of their players hit the All-Pro team, they've been kind of brought back down to earth a little here in Split 2. 2MB's champion pool's been a little questionable. Quite sure where Aki wants to fit in, and despite solo kill coming in, looking pretty good, all things said and done. Really helped stabilize this team as well. They've definitely not been consistent, and there's been issues with draft and finding ways to play out mid games in a way that feel cohesive, I think is the way I'll put it.
For sure. These teams are not the full completed product just yet, and given that we're going into playoffs, they'd like to fix that really, really soon. FPX, a team that occasionally, for me, has punched up. This is a team that beat JDG in a series, by the way, folks. FPX have beaten a top 4 team, and I'm going to say it was probably one of the most exciting series that we had.
It was fantastic.
5-man Pot Blossom was stuff of magic, really. NIP on the other side, they have struggled to punch up in the same way, but at least the changes you're talking about beforehand with solo kill coming in, it has made them feel a bit more stable. Now it's just whether, you know, Aki is kind of complete sprinting or not. Solo kill, he won't carry your games in the same way that a peak Shanji would do, but he's much more stable.
Definitely feels that way. And
The
the NIP cooking really left them with a bad taste in their mouth, unfortunately. They had made a name for themselves in Split 1 for having these creative drafts that looked so interesting, man. Singed tops and Pantheon mids with Stride Breaker tank builds that just didn't keep working. Left them a little bit lost in terms of how they wanted to play, how to have an identity, certainly how to draft. I think that much happening in this early game, so I've been able to muse a little on the nature of these teams. Little spoiler from my end. Dway's definitely hitting my support all-pro, just in third place nonetheless, but he makes it.
Yeah, no, I actually, hang on a second, Shear's going to get ganked towards the top side. Aki coming up.
Let's get exhausted. The other side of the map for that particular player, as Shear let's get knocked up and goes down. Good gank. Mid lane response though, as Shadow flashed on forward, gets the autos, flash for the threaded volley, and they secure the kill on the Gallia.
Takes a double flash from Shadow and Care, but they make that happen on the top side. The exhaust, the only spell used between the 3 members involved in the top gank. Galio, very rarely seen in the hands of NIP. It's banned out in the first 3 an awful lot, so didn't be going down in that first kill. We shall see whether he can recover, and reminders why it's often banned away from him. Him on globals is just so ridiculous. And Solo Puppy, 60 stream streak. Jesus, we spent a lot of time in here. Good to see you all the same, and to all you regulars out there as well. And even less regulars, even if you're here for other things. We appreciate it nonetheless. So don't be going for a hard trade. It actually did win the mind game on the initial cast of the Taliyah, and the problem is the Viking pops them back through it and still pops on those stones anyway.
Done so well, and yet, I always forget there's just that slight additional knockback that Vi can bring in, which can get very annoying. So probably also looking for the 100-day stream streak is the idea, which is a bold...
Jeez. Hey, we can get that done if we do, you know,
quite a lot of streaming.
Quite a lot of LPL. During the break after LPL's over, I will try and put out. I know not often. I just kind of die and resurrect when the LPL comes back because burnout and stuff. I will try and do a stream or two there when we get through this. Keep your eyes peeled for VOD reviews.
Say it ain't say.
Hey, look, we'll see if we can get Emma Psycho streaming right. It won't be like this. At that point, it won't be streaming like this because casting like this because you know we like to respect the official broadcast where there is one. Of course, the LPL there isn't one right now, which is why we're doing this. But yeah, we'll keep you updated on that as well. Hey, maybe in some golden timeline, one of these teams makes it. It's a lot of coaching. It's an awful lot of coaching given the level of our top 4 teams right now. But there is a world in which that could happen.
That's the idea, as Sheer steps on forwards briefly topside. Overheats, and there's that little noise that telling you it's overheated. Gets a little robot telling him, by the way, you're really hot right now. And you go, thank you. It's for the gram.
It's like when you get a new car. It's like, what do you mean the check engine light's on already? I've only had it for a week.
It's all the NOS buttons you've been pressing. Hang on, a bit of an invade on the other side. Loses the wolves. Shadow cues away. Nice little timing there from Aki. He was down a little bit of CS here and trying to reap that back here on the invades.
Yeah, so Aki went for that gank in topside, Shadow into the mid lane, but Aki lost more farm for the attempt in towards top lane. Shadow, sadly for him, realized, if I queue forwards into the Shinzao to kill the wolf, I die. So didn't choose to do that one. Didn't have the flash to get out either, particularly with the Shinzao having the flash. He didn't want to be tussling with that. This is one of the reasons why the Shinzao is so picked right now. I don't feel like you lose anything for picking a Shinzao. Could be a fight down here on bot side.
Wait, body blocking for Assume there. Nice little positioning moment. Wondering why he was doing that. It was basically to stop the hook landing onto Assume, which would have been a bad time.
There have been many bad things. The Rel.
It's a bad time, Alex. 4 AM. 5:17.
It's a bad time somewhere. I think that 6:53 is a bad time for solo kill. We'll go down. A couple of seconds after that.
Really good call. Wow.
Thanks.
That was surprisingly smooth, by the way. I appreciate that.
I look for the actual time where we are. Then I was like, hang on, no time zones. We'll go for the in-game time. Even if it's 5 o'clock where you are, it's only 7 minutes in-game in Summoner's Rift.
Exactly.
For this instance of Summoner's Rift, you know, we got some diverging time.
Time is a weird soup.
Time is a tool you can hang on the wall or wear it on your wrist.
I knew it.
The past is far behind us. The future doesn't
Stop
exist.
quoting this. Scrub, scrub, scrub until the water's brown.
For those of you that never watched Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, it is an experience.
Wasn't there like an actual TV show?
Yeah, no, there is. There is.
Oh, God.
It was, again, an experience. I don't really know if any other words kind of really encapsulate what that is. You know, it's like, I know it's not Noel Fielding, but if it was Noel Fielding, you would understand why. Having a bit of a trip.
The light.
That's actually not Noel Fielding.
Is it not? Because I thought it was Mighty Boosh.
No, I thought it was, and apparently it's not.
It's not?
No, which makes me even more worried that someone else out there is similarly having fever dreams like that. Grubs have spawned. FPX are moving. Well, they had moved to put vision control down. NIP now moving their AD carry up there. And to help with this too. Leave going towards the lethality. Hail of Blades Varus. I can't remember if we talked about that one before, but does have really good ability to chunk out those quick few autos and come back in. Care has ult to use his global. Solo kill doesn't have teleport, so Care will be first to the plate. Let's see if we can get in position to use a wall. And I think NIP respecting that, chooses to take one grub and not overforce.
Shrimp Cakes rightly calls out that green is not a creative colour. However, blue and red very much are when it comes to violence on the Rift. We're looking at 2 squads from either side looking for exactly that. Shadow Q's forward and forces an early Crescent Guard out of Aki.
I don't know if you can fight now. I don't know if you can fight Cat. Walls them off. If you manage to catch out Aki, would have burned the flash. Not able to use that wall in the way that we would like to see it. Good triple arrow there from Leave 2. Another one of them lands, and FPX are going to start struggling in the HP department.
Aki's going to have an interesting time playing frontline here, of course, with no ultimate. The hook goes wide. PP got positioned well enough that he didn't go hooking onto the wall. Seen a few of those recently. Number 2 secured by FPX. One apiece right now. Fight over the last one. Aki has the smite though, and that makes it an interesting equation for FPX, where things go, look, we don't want this fight. We're positioned a bit awkwardly. We're backing off.
FPX choosing not to go for a full engage. I would have thought with the Crescent Guard down, maybe they thought they could have done. It's actually quite worrying if the Crescent Guard is down and they still can't feel like they can go towards the Vi ult with the Equalizer on top of it. Didn't quite manage to do so in that play. Potential of an engage on solo kill, but he has the exhaust, has that W. Quite hard to shut him down as well. So the grand result rather of the Grubs, 2-1, no kills. Bit of a blush spared from Aki from blowing that ult early, but hey, we won't remember that in a minute or two.
That will be the idea. We are left with a minor gold lead to FPX. Kind of it, the trade of the objectives there is what it is, and that's actually it in the grand scheme of things. Potential look into mid lane as both of our bot lanes have headed there, but that does tend to happen a lot earlier than it did once upon a time.
By the way, if you're in chat and you're only seeing things in 720, that means that you are region locked away from 1440. Take that up with Twitch. It basically means you're in a region that doesn't have 1440. It's the thing that we found out on, when Onivia was restreaming our stream the other day. If you do want to get 1440 and you're within a region which doesn't have 1440 supported on Twitch, go to YouTube. We have Onivia and Nymaera both live. For 1440 on YouTube. Stay on Twitch if you want to stay for the chat experience though. But yeah, if you want the highest quality LPL stream on the internet right now, we got it here. So sadly, Twitch goes, no, you're not allowed to have the full package all the time. Dragon's going to go down. That will be secured by NIP, 1-1 in terms of those dragons.
Dragon is indeed secured. Bit of an auto comes on through there onto PP God. Looking here briefly. See whether there's anyone else worth fighting things for. The answer's not really. It's been a bit slow over the last few minutes. 3 kills in 11 minutes. Very slow. But speaking of, Leave gets jumped on. There's the Mags from the bullet time combo. It's pretty good. Leave goes down. Flash away from Shadow. Not the best angle, but gets him out of 3 Talon strike range of Aki. It ends up being a pretty clean combo in the end from FPX.
And this is why I was worried about the last pick Varus into this comp. That can happen. For those of you that watched G2 Fnatic yesterday as well, a very similar thing happened with the Ral Vi. In that case, it was a Corki flying into the play, but the same thing happens. Varus walks up to contest the mid wave. You step just a little too far. You have both summoners available. It won't save you because Varus can't get himself out to safety, even with everything available against that kind of combination.
Well, that's both summoners down, and PP got summoners down, and still Leave died, and that's going to happen relatively regularly. Has gone to the poke variant, we're kind of asking for, but with the Halo Blades that you were mentioning. But again, I don't know how easy it is going to be to stay safe if all of those flashes and ults are up. You can stand as far away as you want. You're not far enough away to avoid a Weaver's Wall, a flash cease and desist.
That might change with Galio. That might change if Galio's in range. Now, that is going to have to be the huge question mark, because if the Varus dies first in every fight, you are relying then on Gwen to do all of your damage. You'll have a little bit of burst from elsewhere, but the Gwen will have to be towing the line for actual damage numbers. Leave for this next fight, whenever that comes up, if it's in the next 3 minutes, I guess his flash will be, I guess the summoners will be back up. But the next fight, if FPX can choose to force it before the summoners back up, it's so hard to protect that Varus, as we've just been saying. And FPX, they don't always need that Vi flash to make that play happen either. Just a good enough Q to get in range can be enough sometimes.
That will be a question for about 2.5 minutes probably, as FPX have just quietly kept this gold lead growing. They're up 2,000 gold hit. Themselves the early mark towards the feats of strength with those kills. Not much more to write home about right now. It's just been good farming, good skirmishing play on the whole, with like back and forth in terms of the objectives.
Now's a fun time to mention one of the storylines which I'm tracking comes to this too, because hey, we like a bit of narrative here. It wouldn't be a pseudo broadcast if we didn't talk about narrative, because we have of course Shadow versus NIP, who you played on for a little while too. Came in end of 2023, I want to say, and stuck around a little bit to play for this organization. It might have been 24 actually, last year. But Shadow, a player that bounced between being, on Mad Lions in the LEC, was an EU player for a while. Notable one over there actually. He was well liked and well regarded. Came over to, of course, play on multiple teams now in the LPL, and he's been a bit of a mercenary player that's bounced from team to team, but I think FPX have found more than a mercenary in this plan. They found someone who can be, if you're going to carry on those kind of references, a bit more towards a general. He can be the leader for this team. Sorrow, who was on FPX beforehand, was fine, but he wasn't really leading the team in a strategic direction, whereas Shadow has actually given a lot of value to his team, being the tip of the spear.
Nice little phase rush combo there from Care to deny Doombee's attempted flank. A minute or so until Dragon, and of course, I don't have that much time to talk about it because the other side of the tip players who used to play for their opposing teams, Doombee won a world championship with FPX a little while ago. Quite well known for being on that team.
Yeah, small fact. Small thing between the two.
All the while, Dragon spawns in 50 seconds. Ults will largely be up. Flashes will largely be up for Ways. I don't think will be, but of course it's got Hex Flash, so a little bit harder to track that one.
And of course the big thing is Leaves Flash won't be up. So FPX, if they bring the Rumble to the play, who's out that one item, yeah, it's going to hurt a lot. Can FPX, well, will they fight? And if they do, can they get onto that Varus? Look how Lever's position really wants to be at the back of things. Care, though, has some decent vision to work with, but fails that ult again. That's the second time he's tried to catch out Aki and failed on that choke point.
Same angle, just can't quite time it right. See the idea, see the vision. Unfortunately, the execution not quite right.
It buys NIP a bit more safety. Again, if you could have caught out someone like the Varus, of course, without that flash. No way across that wall. Now Herald's going to get started up again. Getting to the point now. Give it another 20 seconds or so. That Varus flash will be back up. That's the big thing we've been talking about. Joy has the Mega Blast cone. That'll replace his flash, and he has one already.
Goes in. That's a decent engagement. It's only on to one, really. Doombe flashes away. Shielded Duran's out. On the other side, Solokill begins to get a bit of work done. The bullet time was good for a while, but Aki throws down the Crescent Guard. In comes that Galio at the hero's entrance. Solokill finally goes down, but all the while Assume is just free firing at the back end of it all. The damage was done. It just took a little while to sink in.
I am very surprised FPX got away with that fight. The flash in from Joy after using the Monster Energy Blast Cone. Sponsor us, why not? Didn't find the AD carry he was looking for. Instead, engaged onto the front line. He ended up going down quite easily. And it did feel like FPX had missed their initial play. Only a one-man combo from Joy. Gets a bit of a chunk onto Aki by using the Ignite. But he goes down very, very easily. And I thought, look, that's a lot of wombo tools not used for that much value. However, even after that point, Leaves not necessarily getting the best damage down. The Gwen's not necessarily in good position, gets immediately destroyed. And NIP, despite this being, I would call, a good fight for them, can't make an impact.
Absolutely, and I think at the back end of it all, Assume just getting a load of nasty love tap autos got very, very scary when the strut is running. Press that active, you do get to start really powering through some autos. That's a fourth now for the Misfortune. Doombe trapped under this turret. Herald's going to get dropped. Dragon's still up. They can look to really keep chasing this one on. That's taunt onto Dway. They won't overplay for it. Half the HP bar of Rel is a worthy trade, I think, for forcing NIP a long, long way back. They'll nab a few of these camps, pick up some honey fruit, get a potential second charge here as well. They've done a decent enough job of protecting, but Aki just gets to walk up and smite it. Care will Weaver's wall to the top side, has a teleport potentially come join around the Dragon, but that is where FPX are heading next. They want everything on this map.
Yeah, Solokill has the teleport too. NIP losing a lot of gold there. I guess for this moment in time, FPX haven't managed to recall and spend their gold. They'd like to delay the Dragon start if it would be fought over. They're going to go towards it now. NIP could still contest this. I actually don't think this is a good fight for FPX.
Go NIP, find their way through that banana bush, double control ward on its way, a little bit low, but the Shattering Strike on the Aki is just too far. That equalizer split off NIP. PP God seismically shoved back and finds himself 6 foot deep in the ground. Doombe in danger now as well, as so is Lee, who's got nowhere to go. Solokill's TP'd in, trying to get a suit, can't get the shot down. In fact, he dies back. Can't skip and slash forward because there was the unraveled earth on the ground.
Solokill tries to run at the flashless MF and misses every needlework. Every needlework goes wide. He's got a Rod of Ages Gwen build for reasons beyond me as well. And maybe with a bit more damage from a Rift Maker, it'd be feeling a bit happier. Assume is now 5-0-1. And what were we saying just before that? Oh, it didn't feel like a great fight for FPX because they hadn't spent their gold yet. Maybe with them in the Dragon Pit with the poor terrain, it could have been better for NIP. But Aki goes way too far. You called it out as it was happening, but Aki just way too deep. His ultimate saves no one. He's in a 1v4 for most of that fight with no follow-up available. They didn't have the Galio ult off of cooldown, importantly. And the solo kill hits one middle work, doesn't really hit the second one, and the third one goes wide as well. So he does hit one of them at least, but that one extra needlework hitting would have been a kill. Can't get it, can't get that shutdown. Dies for it as well.
So, 5,000 gold is over for FPX, and it's been relatively, dare I say it, smooth sailing. The exception of that top side play. I know, in the LPL of all regions, but I don't really have any way to put it. Every fight has gone well for them on the whole. They've team fought across the extended fights well. They look like they're on the same page on the whole. And even when things haven't always been absolutely perfect, say one-man Magnet Storms off the Monster Energy Blast Cone type thing, it still looked pretty good from them.
Hey, TFC. I read through your comment, by the way, on the Game 3 just earlier as you were loading into the stream, and I largely agree with your analysis on that Game 3 of IGG. Turns out, when you have something like a Lucian Nami, you have a very good mid-game, but when you don't have a tank, things are hard to execute. So, yeah, but I think the conversation yesterday was around Game 3. Was it a draft diff in Game 3 between IG and EDG? And my answer is no, but rarely are things that easy anyway. So
yeah, I mean, the other side, though, they went for a relatively low DPS combo and a Kali and lethality Kalista, and the Kalista went 1 and 4.
Yeah,
and it was like, oh god, this is looking tricky.
However, the thing is, like, so the DPS conversation, so for instance, the DPS conversation is one we can have in this game, right?
Yeah.
Where you have a lethality Varus who's likely dying at the start of a fight, that's what FPX goal is, and then you are left at that point saying, well, okay, you have a tank Galio and you have a Rod of Ages Gwen. Where's your damage, NIP? Might come through later on from the Gwen, but not having that Rift Maker does really hurt her extended fighting potential. And yeah, when you do have like a Kalista that's been shut down in that other example, or has gone towards the lethality and been shut down, so that's kind of double dipping into the, oh, that's not great, you have to ask that question. Then the question turns around into, well, okay, does the enemy team have something like a tank? Now, in the case of yesterday's Game 3, no, there wasn't, so it does mean that the Akali can occasionally go from killing one person to, oh, actually, there's a lot of swishes I can delete, change things there. That's how it's going to go down in this game, though. And NIP, I don't really know how they can fight. I mean, this is one way to do it. They catch out Dre a little bit, but where's your damage? Where's your damage?
Oh, God, the bullet time comes in. There's the hero's entrance, but what are you heroically entering into? Bit of a disaster is the answer. It's a 1-for-1 right now, but Lever's so split off. He's got the blast code and interrupted. Nicely done, Shadow, timing that disruption. They pick up another. The bot lane has got him trade for Just Way. Look what burns. Ults, flashes galore. You know you can look at things like Atakan now.
It's so easy for them to just walk away from these fights. That was a lot expended by Aki and PP God onto Dway. They used the Galio ult in a not great position either, and yes, they get the one kill, but FPX, they have the DPS advantage. It's much easier for them to follow off for fights, and now they are going to be solidly, what, 7,000 plus gold ahead.
Yeah.
Atakan in as well. They'll get themselves that flower advantage. So Kev flew through with the ultimate to help our mid lane, but actually left a Dway.
That's another not great Weaver's Wall.
Yeah, that's actually 0 for 3 on good Weaver's Walls. But, you know, I guess the Aftershock has the shield. You've used an awful lot to then just get blasted here. You didn't have a cancel left because you used Nautilus's ults and stuff onto the support in front of you. NIP seemed very desperate to me. Very, very desperate. I don't see why you'd be throwing that many cooldowns into a Rel in any other situation.
I'm going to put that out there. If I was Dway, there would be a message being sent to HR after that one. That is mid lane abuse. How dare you lock your Rel out of a fight like that? You were set up the river. Credit to Dway, honestly, for having a pretty good moment there. Despite being put in a somewhat awkward position, planning permission was not granted, Care.
Yeah, so we were talking about this a little earlier. Look, Dway is actually on Sam and my third all-pro team actually as a support. I think he's had a great split.
I really do.
I think the fact that he's drawn, you know, infinite Nico bans against the team, the fact that he's had so many dynamic engages, his Nico of course giving FX the win over JDG as well, who we now regard very well. Of course that was not the best showing from him in that series. Still, a player which I'm watching very fondly now. A bunch of supports have come up over the last few years, which I've put a microscope over. Not all of them have given the returns which I thought. You know, I was excited for Niket. I think he hasn't really found his footing in the same way. Cat looking for a fight. Stop. He got just flash over. Yeah, he's safe.
course, there are some of those players which you look at and you go, you know what, I still want to give you some time. I want to give you another shot. Solo Kill's a great example, right? This hasn't been the best game from him ever, don't get me wrong, but I think he has been good for NIP. Aki, on the other hand, perhaps a little less good, and Solo Kill, the moment I talked about him, found himself in a horrible position, might take Shadow with him, but just runs out of damage. Has finally stacked the Roa, but the Rod of Ages may have to wait till a different epoch. And shield around on Sway, another player we've just been talking well about. Does end up a little bit caught up, but the time on the side is fouled just under range. It doesn't matter. Assume gets the kill of the hero's entrance. It's too little, too late. 10th kill for Assume. This misfortune is turning into a category 5 disaster. Misfortune abounds wherever you care to look. Someone stepped on a few too many cracks.
And that was not a hero's entrance, that was a pallbearer's entrance. All he's there is to carry the coffin back to base. Dernby has not been able to use this Galio, which is so often bound away from him, to make an impact in this game. NIP, I think a lot of their problems have stemmed from very, very split fights from their front line and back line. NIP going in way too deep with this Shinzao. Aki is having a torrid time here on the Shinzao, and you have to question his decision making. You have to question his decision making. He's had many times now in these games where he's had to blow his ult easily, died now a couple of times in awkward positions. I'm actually somewhat surprised he's only 0-2 given the amount of awkward situations he's found himself into. Almost 10,000 gold behind now are NIP. You've got Dragon in 5 minutes, which would be Soul, which is not a bad time for FPX. Of course, the Baron available too.
I just don't trust this player when the gameplay isn't obvious, when he doesn't know how to go forwards, when he doesn't know how to play defensive. I tend to find that Aki is the weak link in those moments more often than not. Don't be wrong, it's not always easy to play jungle when your team is looking a little uncoordinated. I would argue it's one of the hardest roles to have that happen with. But even so, there's now Aki across a few splits, a few years where I had hoped for more from him. Hasn't really shown up.
Which is a shame because I have fond memories of OMG 2023.
Oh, hugely sad.
Shanji and Aki together as a duo. Cream, Abel, and PP God. That was such a fun unit to watch.
Psychotic, but very entertaining.
Absolutely psychotic. I call it, they were quite literally like patrons of the Warhammer Chaos Gods. So you had, PP God can beat nothing but Slanesh. I'm sorry, with that name. You know what you've done. You had Abel, who is 100% Khorne. That man only knew how to fight, even when the jungle was on the other side of the map. You had Cream, who I think was... You had Shanji, who was Zinch because he was the great planner, and whatever the hell he was doing with his... He was the changer of ways, picking Nasus out of matter. He was like the cook, and you had... Cream, I guess, was Nurgle because of the lactose tolerance. But what I had was Aki was Chaos Undivided. He brought them together, but now he's being PP God's divided and taken down.
Well, Slanesh is down for the count. Clearly needed to find a little bit more pizzazz. Leave, though, will be making like a banana and splitting. Solo Kill, now in danger as well. Gets seismically shoved. Will go down here as well. In goes Doinby, but again, it's a pallbearer, but for his own damn coffin. To mass grave in the mid lane, and FPX will just casually walk through mid this game, and I hate to say it, has been a cakewalk. Look at Assume's infantry. Look at his scoreline. That Misfortune is 12 kills deep, and she just walked up to pick up the kills.
NIP have been swiftly dealt with in game 1, but in a battle between our closest seeded teams in the Knights rival stage, our play into playoffs. We expected more from NIP, and they'll have to show us that in another game. This was not close. Game 1 to FPX in easy fashion. In terms of wave clear and the ability to empower the rest of your team, has a better laning phase largely too, and we get the Jinx instead. So Assume on Jinx, a player which was very hyper carry focused a number of years ago, back when all AD carries were.
Yeah.
And just to confirm, by the way, this is the first Smolder in LPL this split.
Okay.
It was banned once, but it wasn't played at all. We saw a game of it from Faker just the other day, for which some people were praising when people were dunking on Chovy for picking it at Worlds. Like, whatever, it's fine. You can... Different players, different standards, I suppose. But the Jinx locks in for Assume does make him another viable hyperscaling carry. We have double hyperscaling carries on both teams.
Very much so, and I think the Jinx and the Victor will be somewhat matched in a way that the Cassidy and the Smolder likely will be on the other side. My only worry here is Cassidy will hit a point where no one will want the side lane against him. You can kind of mess up. He's stood on the bridge between Zorn and Piltover. Everyone else mashing up their differing skin lines. Cowbell comes out. We'll be giving it a beat for the crowds to yell Jayo. Quick note from Trinity, apparently we are on the center patch, allegedly. A little bit of an invade here from NIP. Ward put down onto the Raptor pit.
Oh, so we are.
There you go. So, a little note. That does then explain why the center priority has started to rise, has changed a little, and that champion is a bit silly right now in the right hands. So, Celica and Aki both in this jungle. Shadow kind of aware that something might be happening. Trying to figure it out himself. He's tried to read this and he's gone the wrong way. Immediately flashes out. That was not a response flash. Good, just double checking. Shadow needs to start backing away here. Not a great space to be in as his Pantheon.
I was actually a little bit worried that Celica will go for a flash Q there, given that Shadow couldn't walk out of it too easily. But no easy angle for the Poppy to get ahead. Shadow will pop his pot early and start on wall, start on the empowered Q. That's a big thing there. He uses the flash instead of leveling up a different ability. If he had leveled up E, obviously your killer speed goes through the floor.
That was a bit tricky there. I think we got a slight desync on the audio, by the way, Alex. Hopefully that will sort our problems. Be back onto normal audio synchronization.
I don't think it reset the way the normal does. Is it still decent?
A little bit, yeah. I didn't hear the audio stop. There we go. Give it a second, guys. We're charging up the power. See, now the lights come back on. Yeah, eating a bit of damage early here. Again, Victor post his rework. A bit more of a lane bully. Tway heads on forwards there onto PP God. And there's a glacial augment as well here on Tway. Not an aftershock or anything as well.
I mean, I don't think that changes that much in the early game, because you're not against a high damage early game bot lane, so the aftershock doesn't necessarily help you with that. What it does help you do is run down to less mobile carries, particularly the Victor. If he gets caught with it, can't exactly run away that quickly, the smaller two.
Exactly that. Aki now goes with his red buff and therefore his full build on Poppy. We know this. Keck will be in danger here. The observer is understandably zooming out. Keck needs to now be aware that he could be ganked. He's trying to stay away to stick to safety, but I think Aki flash heroic charge, kill onto the Victor. Great mid lane gank to get that first blood. And
Cat should honestly just flash away from the tower. You should be away from that tower. Giving the easy wall stun is a problem. When you're against the Poppy, the mentality is, oh, I'm low HP. Let me get as far away from them. If they have flash, they will just wall stun you. That's how you die. So Aki already impacting the game a lot more than he did in the last one. That early invade into that early kill. Cat, sadly, we know he's a bit of a streaky player. Let's hope this isn't the tipping point and the nosedive for him.
And he is notorious for being one of those. Hang on, Doomby might be in danger now. Aegis Assault to speed. Gravity Field comes on down. Out comes that Nether Sphere. But again, not quite enough damage if the Gravity Field was there. So Doomby takes 20% of his HP bar and doesn't really care.
The Null Sphere, so.
Oh no, Nether Blade, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Nether Blade, Null Sphere, and other things like that. So he's got the mana.
I genuinely did just sit there and slowly say it. Try to remember which way around it was. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's Void Stone, Null Sphere, Nether Blade, Force Pulse, and then the Rift Step.
Is it Rift Warp?
No, it's Rift Warp. It's just, for those of you that remember when he got reworked in Season 5, it like halved his... He used to jump twice as far, but half as often.
Yeah.
But he'd do a million damage because AP scale. It's still mana scaled in a very similar way. It was sure. It was a time, all right. It was a time back in the days of 98% ban rate casted him. It was a time.
Horn playing it in Season 5 and being very, very similar with it. It was Jinx Kassadin, in fact, on EDG. Back when they were looking very, very dominant coming into MSI.
Although, funnily enough, you say that, it was actually Faker that played it during the finals, though.
He did.
He didn't play the first 3 games, subbed in for game 4, played the Kassadin, first time in his career, smashed him with it. It was a hell of a time, it was.
His Lockbox come out in game 5, and it wasn't his fault.
No, it was Wolf first timing Nautilus on stage, which actually ended that game, sadly. And Wolf, great legendary player, but also just not great at that one game, which did see SKT lose the first ever MSI, and EDG win the first one. And, Yeah, that was start of a good record actually for LPL over MSI. It's typically been the LPL's tournament. Of course, we are in the run-up to another MSI. Last year was won by Genji, Chovy's first international tournament win. Of course, it's been a long time coming for him. One of the very, very best players in League's history. And I think currently best player in the world.
I think that's pretty unarguable. Very hard to find someone who's been as consistently dominant as he has been over such a consistently long period of time. In fact, looking at players, probably is only a very select number who have been that good for that long. Baker for a while was probably up there. I think Rookie's been up there at points in the past. But at the minute, it is Chovy.
Yeah, I think there have been points where Showmaker and Canyon back in like 2020 and 2021 were just so ahead of the curve compared to many. But it's a fun conversation, isn't it? When you think about who's actually not just peaked, but peaked and stayed at a peak for a little while. It's very hard to stay on top of the world like that. Dragon's going to get started up. Keep your guard and leave. Doing quite well, actually, in this bot lane. The Smolder's stacking fairly well. Aki finding out Doomby, not Doomby, Shadow, alongside Doomby as they go back towards that dragon.
They will. Does look like it's going to get donated. NIP, ones with the slightly better early power here. I think that mid-jungle play early on has set them up very well for success. And the Victor having the winning early matchup into the casting has done them a lot of favors here for setting them up well. Of course, FPX not really that bothered by it as yet. The problem will come a little later on, of course. It's when that Smolder really stacks and they've not managed to do anything post about 2-ish items. Early tier in for the casting, who does tend to like to go towards Seraphs and Roa. Shadow finds Aki, throws out a Comet Spear. Backs away with Dre behind him.
Grubs in 30 seconds, and we did say on paper, technically this should be a slower game between the two teams. FPX are slowly crawling to a pretty decent early game lead, though. It's only 8 minutes in, and they have a 1,000 gold lead on Doomby's Victor, which is one of his champions he does have an impact on. They gave him the Galio in game 1, which has typically been one of those other champions, but really his Victor has been the guy where you can say, okay, this is, he will solo carry this. You must be careful. You can't give him that freely.
Goes down the Arcane Storm. Care left a little bit bereft of health. Did get off a decent Null Sphere, though, to give himself that magic damage shield. But he's down 20 odd CS here, which is fairly significant. Again, it's a cast and it happens to you early on into certain matchups. Ground Star for bot side, though, and Leave is very alone here. Smolder will go for more, but I don't think the magic sponge is going to heal that boo-boo. He's dead.
Dre pops the ultimate, shrugs off some tower shots, plate goes down, and Leave clears most of the wave, but won't be able to stop a plate going over towards Assume, so a bot side advantage gained from FPX.
Very smooth and nice first ult there from Shadow. Gets a kill onto the Smolder, denies him a wave. Gets Assume rolling a little here as well, and Shadow will be an important part of this early game for FPX. Him getting a kill, no bad thing either. Lose a red buff as a trade. Won't be able to get one on the other side.
Worth noting, by the way, we've got two champions which are in the Victor and the Castan who are likely to build the Rod of Ages, which has been nerfed on previous patch, and then potentially the Leandries for Victor afterwards, and Care will likely go towards the Seraphs, the Archangels. Yes. Now, Seraphs is meant to be nerfed as a one item, but if you do have Rod of Ages in Seraphs, I think it's technically a slight buff when you get to max.
Oh, interesting.
So,
what were the changes to Seraphs, actually?
Seraphs, it went from a flat shield of 200 plus some extra scaling based on your total mana. Now it's on your bonus mana with no flat shield. So there's no base 200 steel. Shield. But now the scaling, I think it went from 18% total mana to 20%. No, 20% total mana. Blah blah. Like 20% total mana, bonus mana to 18%, whatever it is. Anyway, it basically, I've completely fucked my words. And there's a fight happening anyway, so they can stop me.
Heal. Basically, the shield should be bigger if you've got more mana.
Yes, that's
but
the one.
The base shield isn't.
Yeah, it's 20% bonus, whereas before it was 18% total. That's the one. Yeah. So if you get two big mana items, which the Roa and the Seraphs both are, you get a big shield. You do get a slightly better shield, yeah.
Leave. Prancing around. I will say, Smolder's animations are very good. The tail and the little catwalk are just wonderfully smug. Aki has found himself a bit of a wraparound here. Is there a dive coming? There's an ult on his way. Be that easy to assume. Finds Aki. Autos him a couple times, throws out a zap, but does not electrify Aki's Poppy. top side. Shadow resetting as well, so both our junglers looking to go back to base. We've got a minute and a half or so until the next round. Remember when I say that. Shield vault from Shadow that is immune by solo kill pressing the R button. And he gets to stay in lane, but he'll be down that ult.
We said it might be a slower game. On the whole, it has been. Doomby farming up very, very well. And
He is.
This is a very Doomby thing, by the way. He kind of pioneered this on the Victor way. You just don't save your Death Ray ever. Yeah, not Death Ray. Your Chaos Storm.
Yeah.
Chaos Storm. You just ult away for prior. You shove it in. Victor has some of the best under tower poke of any champion in the game, where he can tank up the first tower shot before it's heated up with the Q shield to get a good trade onto you. He has a first strike, which in this case is very good at punishing the outrange matchup. And Care, much like when he played this champion against JDG, has fallen behind early, and FPX didn't do a great job of supporting that. That's a good retreat path from NIP. Means that the ult from Shadow goes wide.
See what Shadow was thinking, but NIP read it well. Find their way out to safety. Shadow going to be down that ultimate. Does mean he's around in time for the dragon, though, so cheats the reset a little there. Aki trying to stay off vision as Dway sweeps some wards. Would be second dragon for NIP. Doomby's back is interrupted. Has no mana here. Care won't overchase this again on this Kassadin right now. He's still stuck at a catalyst and a blasting one, so isn't really a threat in any way right now on the Kassadin. Will be eventually, of course, but that will be a little ways off, and you can see it in the discrepancy. 3 stacks in a row versus not even completed yet. It's going to suck. TP's box side. Soon, being body blocked there by Dway, who does press the R button. They're going to try and turn it around. The flash 3-man pulverize. Headbutt away on leave. Aki now in danger. Dway gets to back on out as Asum is excited. Oh, Dway. That was beautiful.
That's our third all-pro support for us. Anyway,
Yeah, for us.
for us. Well, I've got to caveat that. But damn, is Alistair is really clean when he needs it to be. The Dragon now start up from FPX, and this is really important. If the Jinx is ahead, and if it's not just, oh, okay, well, the Smolder and Victor will eventually come online. If you can match fire for fire and have a carry come online, maybe FPX will feel a lot better about the fact that they can maybe bat on past the Kassadin when he finally comes online. That's not a great smite. Aki flashed to try and steal it, didn't quite get it.
Tried to combo that with the Q. Shadow gets away with it as Asum also left at about 100 HP. Gonna try and invade here onto the Gromp. Shadow may just have to give this one up. Might think about fighting anyway. Cares coming on over. Aki and PP God now in danger. The slow from that Force Pulse gets things interesting. Doomby looking to roam on over. Does have that Chaos Storm. Gromp, I didn't actually see who picked that one up by the looks of the CS score. It was Aki, and the smite's also on cooldown. So that'll be that. Gromp successfully won by NIP. Rocket interrupts back.
Stops the recall. Does that buy lane allocation advantage for FPX? Sometimes you just use that ultimate to stop a recall, get yourself to a wave first from that. And sometimes help you. Shadow's going to take himself to spot side jungle. Not had the best best success with his ultimates in this game, but hey, we'll keep tracking them as we go beyond it. I'm still quite worried about Care though. 2,000 gold down. Yes, there are some small advantages elsewhere. Kassadin will eventually be a threat, but getting this far behind feels really crap. Doomby's actually going towards the Lich Bane second, by the way, not the Leandry's.
I quite like that.
Which, hey, you're against a quad melee comp. I don't mind it at all, and the move speed doesn't go amiss either.
Move speed, very valuable, especially if you're playing for pressure into this Kassadin as well. The ability to get them under the turret and keep trading with those orders on the Siphon Power, very valuable. As you said, lots of melee champions. Value from your auto attacks will be relatively high this game, theoretically. Where will Hex Flash over the wall. Finds a few people and goes, maybe not.
We'll just close that. We'll close that door. We will pretend it doesn't exist. Anything else coming up? Yes, so the Herald in 20 seconds. Shadow has his ultimate back up. Has that first item. Aki does well, worth noting that they've both gone towards that Sundered Sky. Poppy in the jungle does a weird amount of damage, actually. You get towards that auto crit with the Buckler. And you go towards something like an Unending Despair second. You are surprisingly annoying at 2 items as a Poppy.
I say that a lot about you.
Yeah.
Surprisingly annoying.
I think I'm surprisingly annoying in general, even without 2 items. Yeah. I've really thrived at making that my
What
crap.
items do you build, Alex?
I build the coffee machine of great power and responsibility.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Gives a lot of mana.
The Arrowchino of milky goodness, which then makes you able to get lattes because I'm a basic
really
bitch. I'm
want to talk about milky goodness in regards to
I'm a basic bitch, Sam. Basic bitch. Okay, gets himself a side lane out of tower, which is important. Again, all of these, all the extra gold you can get towards that Kassadin really makes a difference. Care is, importantly here actually, because Care is behind in gold and has a late Rod of Ages, he will get more of that. Hang on a second, fight mid lane.
Looking to throw down that steadfast presence and decides against it. Dway and Assume have done a pretty good job of managing to hold their ground here as this Jinx and Alistair. This Jinx in a pretty good position. That kill, 10 CS, exactly a breaking point versus the Smolder, especially relative to, say, Doumbia and Care, as we were kind of talking about, but all the same. FPX here, the gold 600 or so behind, and this is coming into the point of the game where they should be starting to get a little more dangerous. My issue is, again, look at that cast in the rower, actually nearly stacked. The Lich Bane done, you've got one stack for Care right now.
Yes. So what I was saying with that before is, yes, you get later stacks. However, it gives you a higher likelihood of getting, instead of level 13 to level 14, which is often what the Rod of Ages go to, you can go to level 14 to level 15, or in some cases, even if you build it second, level 15 to level 16,
Big, yeah.
Which means that you actually get more experience from the actual eventual level up, which can give you some value. Of course, the casting, that's very important. Is it going to be a push to the wall? No, had that W available. Shit, just wave clearing. Doumbia, though, getting a decent amount of damage from these side lanes as well. So while the casting, yes, is getting some side lane farm now, make no mistake, Doumbia is still very happy getting up towards 2-3 items to the victor.
Look over here, folks. This is the rare sighting of the top lane tank matchup on screen. What an incredible experience. We never see that on the observer feed. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
We have 3 kills in 18 minutes. It's in 17 minutes. It's a little too little for us LPL casters here. We're used to
violence,
violence, blood.
It's like the ADHD of casting dreams.
100%. The only one which really gets more than that is like the old VCS.
Yeah,
of course, in the LCP
everything.
now, it gets a little bit watered down because there's only 2 of those VCS teams. It gets By the way, we was having this conversation a little bit earlier. By the way, I do find it. I think that the community mindset has not switched over yet. That LCP is in fact a major region.
Yeah.
It's, the PCS and the VSS were already in a weird spot where they were 2-seed regions. So while they weren't a major region, they weren't really minor regions either, because they deserved those 2 spots and often did pick up wins quite well internationally. However, now that they are this full-fledged region, they just reached the semi-finals first stand. They looked really good doing it as well. That's a region which I'm very excited to see. And of course, many players switch from between the LPL and the LCP. Even a number of players on Ultra Prime come through from Frank Esports. That's almost, mid lane out turret going to go down in favor of NIP. So again, slow crawl forward, getting those extra territory in their favor.
It's that second Herald charge. That's good value there. Another turret goes down. Care going to try and trade out by the looks of it for that top turret. Still waiting on the 3rd kill to come through for someone to secure the feats of strength. But I think understandably FPX saying, look, actually, the Dragon Soul right now is not that much of a concern. We would rather play for gold elsewhere, get this cast in more numbers, get this cast in more gold. Don't think that's a bad decision, I think, in the grand scheme of things, for all you still have to deal with.
Bit late on that one.
A nice idea.
Go for the old wild turtle when you manage to steal it cross map with the Jinx ultimate. We are heading towards second item, I guess now. Sam, like a bad stand-up comedian, I'm running out of material. Aki, hang on a second. There we go. Yay! Don't need it.
Powerful tries to come on through. They're going to try and turn this around onto Doumbia. Split up a little bit. The keeper's verdict comes on through, goes entirely wide. Shadow now a little bit split up. Throws up a decent Aegis, so will need to think about flashing out, and does so. Wonderful pulverize. On the other side, Solicle's keeping people busy though, so Care and Assume aren't autoing. Problematic. Dway has his ult run out. Sheer needs to back out as well. Sheer is so monstrously tanky in the front line, but not for that much longer. The last rocket comes on through. They get it. Aki's gone too far. Look at the other side. Shadow shield vault in. Aegis assault gets the damage. Doumbia dead as well. Care running over everyone, now leaves left alone. It was all so close for both teams. Leaf will at least get one. Care gonna have to... Oh! Quadra kill for Leaf!
The little dragon that could! I cannot believe Care just killed not only himself, but his AD carry in the same fell swoop. I can't believe it! It was a one fight! Are you kidding me? All Care had to do was ult forwards instead of backwards and trade in the 1-for-1. Instead, gives the Smolder a quadra kill out of nowhere.
FPX, as a Brit, I'm going to give you a number. And the number is for St. George, because clearly some dragon slaying is required.
Okay, so, Leave goes completely untouched in the grand majority of this fight. Really like how he flaps over the wall, gets his ult into position, gets good Q up time. Leave played this fight out incredibly well. However, that shouldn't have solved this game. You still had Sheer being able to disengage. At this point, he's out of position, and then you think, okay, well, Solo Kill, maybe you should have flashed out earlier at this point. NIP, they are completely saved by the fact that FPX overchased. This fight should have been the game-winning play for FPX, but much like we've seen from both these teams, they are known to overchase. They're known to overchase. This is a Jinx resetting, but of course doesn't have all of the HP needed for this. Braum passive staying up completely saves this game. And then, Kev, my dude, if you ult forwards, you save this instead, you go down. Quadra kill to Leave. Got himself to 225 stacks as well. That execute, nasty.
Atakan's now up. This Smolder that was behind is now 1,000 gold up. Oh, baby, we go again, folks. Glacial Prison, sorry, Glacial Fissure, rather, comes down, delays any real ingress. So the Atakan picked up our NIP. In they go, though, as Dre finds an angle in, looking to find something as Leave into the Dragon Pit. Keeper's Verdict comes across well and knocks Shadow out after his Grand Starfall in, so he's not available. Need to back away. Leave still looking for an angle to keep on going through as a decent Q3 pullback. They do get Aki. Shadow still on the flank angle, looking for something. Assume excited into the backline he goes, but it's very damn deep. They're not very well coordinated right now. Oh! Gets very scary. Still too low. Gets executed. 2B goes golden. Assume that's their arc rat needs a last rocket and can't quite find it. Another triple kill to Lee, who survives again.
FPX are just throwing themselves into the meat grinder, and they're not winning now. They should be really with the Jinx getting full stacks, but they just gave a quadra kill to the Smolder, so that equation no longer works out in their favor. Particularly well played by Leave again to position himself in the right spot. But the fact that Shadow went into the fight, got punted out of the fight, and they couldn't consistently get towards that Smolder, that was a huge issue for them. Atakan goes down, Shadow charges up the ultimate, but they don't manage to get like the consistent clumped engage here, because Dway gets stopped by the Poppy. It stops with the Poppy W, and then the ult gets rid of the other engaging threat. Aki, good fight from him on the Poppy.
Sheer does quite a lot of work here, getting a 4-man Q3, drags Aki all out. And you think at this point, it might be playable, because it does get really close, but Braum passive, again, is such a problem for this Pantheon, for this Kassadin. They go in and they blow up a few, but Doumbé still has a Zhonya's. Shearer's Care is still knocked up. He ends up going down, has at least managed to get towards those 2 items. Now it's got the upgraded boots. It will still become a bit of a threat, but this game that looked like FPX might be finding their way back in is now in a position where this Smolder alone may be all the win condition you need. 3 items now done.
I mean, 3 items, you have the execute. A lot of what changed with Smolder from his first meta to now is the fact that his Q can get bonus crit damage. So when you do get the Infinity Edge, it gets a huge spike. The rapid fire kind of means that you get to use it more effectively. And of course, the more stacks you get, Smolder got a couple of buffs to this too. Your DOT's a little stronger. And yeah, that can help you get that execute even more. I cannot believe that FPX threw the back end of that fight, giving the extra double kill over to Louvre. That
just ult
even just running in, with the Braum passive attached to them, that felt a bit far. But then, yeah, that'll keep them awake at night. That will.
That's rough. And now, of course, we're in this position where I think NIP are going to be firmly in command of this game. The gold lead is there, the soul point is there, the Smolder is there. Yes, you've got a Kassadin that's scaling. Yes, your Jinx isn't exactly in a bad position, but the 1,500 gold diff will hurt.
And it is worth noting that Care is going to get more value from the Rod of Ages as it ticks over in the next 30 seconds or so. He'll go from level 15 to level 14 to level 15 there, so it does get him up more XP than he was allowed, really. Still behind the XP compared to Doumbé, by the way, because he's lost out in so many different ways. But Care, we will see if he can get towards level 16 and get on top of that Smolder effectively.
We'll need to. Be a thing, of course. Ninjas in Pajamas. It has been a turbulent old split from them. They pulled off some pretty insane base defenses. Find it. They beat top esports off Leave with an insane late game Lucian carry. And known to do that once or twice. Care ends up taking a lot of damage from Solo Kill there. A third of his HP bar just disappears as Solo Kill gets a full decimating smash into Soul Furnace combo.
NIP obviously setting up around this Baron. Dragon in a few minutes would be Soul for NIP. They have so many big advantages now. The question is, can they keep their carry safe? and stop the game becoming about something like Jinx resets or, of course, the level 16 on Cat. Even with 2,000 gold advantages per roll, the nature of hyper carries means that if you make a mistake, that gold difference does mean less and less as the game goes on. Cat will need another 2 minutes realistically to get himself up towards level 16, and that'll have to be some good farming time as well. Well, that's also mentioned. He will also be a full item basically behind Doomby. Has spent some gold onto those upgraded Sork shoes, so he does get some percent pen from that, some extra flat pen too. It's very efficient on this patch, but still, yeah, behind in terms of those items. Maybe the difference because Doomby is putting so much damage.
That he is. Wait, a little bit split off there, trying to defend some vision, and this Alistar still being pretty scary. Not miles off level 16 here. Another wave or two should get him there at the very least. Got the teleport.
There we go.
Baron a consideration. Here we go.
There we go. Okay, he teleports into the play now. Level 16. Doesn't have himself all the items he needs, but he just got himself the components of what could be a voice staff for Leandries. We'll see what he ends up going towards. Scuttle Crab, taken by NIP. No Baron stop.
TP'd in just in case. It was a little look in, but they'll be happy enough having earned the teleport of Care. Doomsday clock is ticked over, but I worry the payload might not be quite enough this game.
Third item for Assume now. Maybe that'll help. Infinity Edge for the Jinx. And again, even though they are 1.5k down on their opposing number, and it is a smaller and a Victor, Jinx and Kassadin are strong enough in the late game that if you make a mistake, they will carry. NIP are known to make those mistakes. Sadly, it's been FPX the ones which have made the bigger mistakes so far with that quadra kill over towards the Smolder. Has 330 stacks right now. Incredible stacking rate. And a reminder that beyond 225, it's less important, but it does increase the spread of your Q and the DOT afterwards. So Leave will, I guess, once he hits a Q onto a target, we'll see exactly how much that does.
He does go heroically charging forward. Solo Kill also now coming to look for some frontline. Way will press the R button and go unbreakable. Assume loses 2/3 his HP bar though. His teleports come flying. Immediately out goes Sheer with the flash and the footwork. Care on a flank angle. So some teleports blown and some extra summoners off FPX.
There was a big mistake there made from Dway, who stood too close to Assume. So while he body blocked the Scion ultimate, still got the splash damage onto Assume. And it took almost half his HP. The Smolder ult afterwards meant that it was very, very dangerous. And now suddenly, with that HP advantage, they can walk towards this Baron. Good damage from Doomby over the wall.
Yeah, stacking up his Rift Walk. That's 3. Got himself the Honey Fruit to keep the mana high on a flank angle, looking to see whether he can find someone and maybe hop back over down to 4k. Where is Shadow? Grand Starfall available. Care still on the flank. Doomby now spotted. They have to be aware that the Baron is going. Grand Starfall now coming, trying to find an angle back on in. There is the Pantheon, jumps on forwards onto Leave, who is going to be forced to flash on out. Shadow does burn away. Care needs to back out, gets away from the Siphon Power. Sheer in the front line, not all that damn tanky. Kindly goes all out, but he's being burned out and low. Dway gets flashed on by Solo Kill, who's jumping onto Assume as well. Running at the Jinx, who's got nothing to be done here. A flash over the red puff wall will allow Doomby to siphon her power. And Victor comes out trumps.
Victor comes up trumps, Smaller comes up trumps, and Shadow dives in onto the AD carry, and no one follows him. Care, you had a flash, you had level 16. This is the fight where you must send it. Care chooses to leave his jungler for dead and not even attempt to kill that little dragon. Didn't believe in himself. Wonder whether Care really should have just full sense it. This payload, as we said, just not enough. And now goes in by himself and dies anyway.
That's an ugly moment. Shadow comes back up alive, but I think this game is over. Dway is here, Shadow is here. There's 13 seconds on Assume, who's most of your wave clear. The health bar from NIP, not fantastic. The shield vote's only on a single target. Throw up an Aegis Assault, but the executes continue to fly. Leave at 10 kills deep. This dragon returns the favor from Assume in game 1 and will drop a mighty scoreline up on the AD carry. And NIP bring us to an even state of affairs. 2 stomps one way or the other.
After that first game, we're saying, well, NIP, you better wake up. That was not close, and it wasn't really a con.
With the Kai'Sa, but you're already down the likes of the Nautilus. So the Leona it will be. Elimination series, yes it is. If they lose this series, you're out. That is your spring split done. No playoffs for you. Do you know, are you assuming? Boo, enjoying with the pun. FPX full of tanks. Yeah, quietly so. The Rise and the Jax will get these bruisery, I think is the way to put it. If solo kill gets a solo kill with the Maiden, is it still a solo kill? Is he with still solo kill? I think so. Very dramatic music. The crowds yell.
欢迎来到英雄联盟。敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他们。
So, crowd chanting done for a second or two here. Interesting that NIP got a bit of an edge here in terms of the statistical modelling, at least. Would have been more so if they chose Leona. Yeah, I agreed. The Rakan changed that around a bit. Still. A lot of lockdown. Rise Rune Prism, Counter-Strike, Sejuani's whole kit, the Rakan as well. Like, if you overplay here as the Kai'Sa, the Ori, even the Wukong, it's very easy to just get locked down permanently and blown up. The range is quite short, though. You may end up grouping up with things like the Cyclone and the Shockwave to be very deadly. Leave. It's a lot of damage there early. The heal burned by Joy to try and keep the range up. Still be an early reset force. Level 2 secured. Gets him in a pretty good spot here to keep the shove up. Leave will deny, or rather delay his reset. I will borrow a toaster from Ruby, says 1000 Guys. We back into the toaster game conversation again, guys. Leave the bathtubs alone. Okay, gets a decent chunk there. Just spell fluxing through the wave. Shadow. Roaming up topside. Aki's going to be here too. Counter-Strike lands. Start protection comes on down. Flash after the Arctic Assault. Permafrost down, looking to get the last bits of autos down. The last right ceiling is enough. Can't quite get enough now. Aki looking to come on down. The Ghoul sent forward. Shadow healing up. Off the red buff. Gets a bit of a chunk now onto Aki. Gonna get permafrosted, but not in time. And the turnaround is good. They couldn't quite get solo kill before the last right's healing came in. And it puts NIP in a good position in this early game. Looked like a great gank from Shadow. Swiftly turned around as the turret and the Q does its work. Gets a knock up there onto leave. Foss bomb afterwards. Doing his best to pick up this wave where he can. Valkyrie burned. Just to help clear this wave faster. Have a look at this topside play, because initially it starts really well. The counter-strike's in. But Sheer can't keep ordering because the Dark Procession just outranges what he can do. They get the permafrost down. And then Shadow starts to head away as the turret shots come on through. But the last right Q does so much work. And Aki gets over the wall. Nimbus Strike into the Warrior Trickster. More than enough damage with the double bonks coming on through. Aki got his one trick. Maybe NIP can finally win a red side game. Well, wouldn't that be a surprise? Nothing super crazy happening right now. Should be okay. All the same. Aki. Heading onto this Scuttle Crab. Dragon being taken by Sejuani. Gets that early. Permafrost does allow you to smack through objectives pretty well. She is quite low here. Somewhat surprised Aki didn't think about looking, but it's just saying, look, more value probably from nabbing this Grob rather than earning what will likely just be a flash off Sheer. Maybe look to interrupt this. Nimbus Strike into Warrior Trickster out. Shockwave mid. Doing be using that for control mid. Care. A little bit low. Command attack distance. Flash from the Zenith Blade. I don't know if that would have been quite in range. Lane swap comes on through. Jack's already bot side. Assume we'll pick up the majority of this wave. It's a double crash. Way. Nice little grand entrance. No shockwave, of course, for Doinby, but he can still throw command protect out as Care. Clears out the wave. Did have to burn that flash. Obviously, after PP Gold went looking. Sheer bot side. Picking up as much of this wave as he can. Is down a little bit of CS now. Maidens come up as well, which does get a little annoying. Part of the deal with Jax. You can't counter-strike the Maiden damage and gets really annoying. FPX is low damage. Not as low as you think. Corky Jax Rise is pretty good damage, actually. Way will find Aki, but Nimbus Strike falls into the Cyclone. Way gets out to safety. It's a heal on Way, that's it. So ult in trade for heal. Not the worst thing ever. Aki's time a little wasted as a result. Sejuani, you're going to just go on a bit of a clear here. Get the respawn on Raptors. And I think, so yeah, it's like, I'm not sure I'd call them low damage. I'd say NIP are probably higher damage because obviously the Wukong makes a big difference. The Orianna Yorick, obviously quite high damage. I'll say FPX probably have a slightly better team fighting team, though the Wombo from NIP is very good. Doinby. That's going to be a problem. Permafrost, no chance to flash. Glacial Prison after, doesn't burn that flash in time. Oh, Doinby. Flash does get the ult interrupted, so I think the ult actually doesn't go off. Oops. Nice kill there. Picking up Doinby, who wanted to try and flash towards his turret with a phase rush, get out to safety. Realm Warp now top side. Leave, and PP got in danger. Flash on him with the quickness. Knock up onto Leave, who gets no chance to Killer Instinct out. Jway will die, but that's fine. A 2-for-1 trade under the turret is more than good enough. A second kill to Care. One on to Assume, and life feeling a lot better for FPX. All of a sudden, they find themselves the feat of martial mastery towards the full feats of strength. Definitely NIP are in damage layers. Yeah, I mean, Aki makes that difference, right? For sure. It gets turned towards the grubs. Aki's coming on over, has the flash. But there's a bit of a slow. Spellflux goes down. Doinby gets the ball put on top of him. Care gets pulled back, but there's not actually all that much damage yet. Aki forced to flash away. Doinby has gone forward. Remember, he doesn't have flash. Aki looking for some more damage. Care will finally get traded for Aki. Shadow gets over the wall. Ends up being a 1-for-1. Hope's not here, which is a problem. He reset. Ended up being a little bit less even than I think FPX were hoping for. Who got that kill? Shadow for Aki. No, Smite makes things interesting. Doinby with half his HP bar missing. Wait, went looking for that grand entrance. Couldn't quite find it. Still, big low gold lead now to Assume, who has done a lot with the early pressure that the Corky can buy you. Remember, Leave needed to think about resetting at level 1. This led to a 20-odd CS discrepancy. Dove a couple minutes ago as well. Sheer gets some autos down. And Assume fires that Gatling gun on his Manatee bird thing. Earth. Every time he Valkyrie. Wonderfully silly. TP's coming in. Dragon up and available. Cat just trying to get a little bit of damage done on that turret. They did get 2 of the grubs reminders. That was a pip towards the objective marker and feat strength. The Shadow can steal this. That would be the marker they need, but I think they'd rather just give this Jack some time topside and look mid as leave. Ults over the wall well. Doesn't have to cleanse or anything. Does have to lose a lot of the wave mid though, but good escape there. Glacial Prison didn't quite land. So Leave managed to find a way out to safety. Care now potentially in danger. Does back away. Turret getting jumped on all the while. Jax on the minimap. Bonk, bonk, bonking away. With a Sheen. With the grubs. Should be able to, I think, get that first turret. Yeah. No, don't back away. Just take the turret, dude. He needs to get onto it. Hang on. This gets a bit of a race. Now the wave ran out. Should with the grubs be able to do it? Oh, it's going to be tight. Bloody hell. NIP win it. A little too slow. Sheer's wave ran out. And the Trinity Force was done for solo kill. It was not for Sheer. Yeah, Mecha, you're always the leader. It's your fault. The buck stops with you. Ruby and Kites can do no wrong. That's all I'm saying. Interesting, we've got some big FPX believers in Onivia's chat. I can sort of get it. I think sometimes NIP gets a bad rap when I think sometimes they've got better players than people give them credit for, and I still trust the likes of Leave to be a threat. Not as great as they were perhaps in Split 1, but they are still very good. Okay, PP God now potentially in danger. Looking to get a Cyclone forwards onto Shadow, who is so very dead. Gonna try and turn this around with the quickness. Can't get as much as they're doing. Leave is very low! Oh my days, he gets away with it. TP in for solo kills means they can't keep chasing. Shadow no flash quite yet, but with that resets coming on through, that mid turret's likely going to fall. There's no TPs available. Solo kill can try and walk up and save this, but I don't know how easy that's going to be. Morning Mist is going to come out, perhaps. They'll get at least another plate here, I would imagine. Grand entrance. Bit of damage back. We'll clear out most of this wave. Still. Leave again, forced to drop a wave off the play. All right. What do we even need to look at next? Game's been a relatively even affair. I think probably FPX are the ones who come out slightly ahead here. On the whole, a couple missteps here and there. But Leave has been punished a fair amount. Down 1,000 gold. Jax is still in a good position. Yes, Aki's scary on this Wukong, and that should be a problem. But your Rise is scaling just fine. Doombee's gone for the damage build on the Ori. I think that's the correct choice with the item changes anyway. And I've always tended to prefer the more damage-heavy Ori builds. Anyway, otherwise you become a little bit too lacking in burst off the shockwaves landing. Dragon a minute and a half. That is deciding, actually. Feats of strength, at least in part. NIP would need another objective after that, but if FPX can claim it, that is theirs then. Herald also coming up now. Another consideration towards that, but I think FPX is saying, look, we want to play for this mid-tier 1. Forced to reset again. That turret goes. Nicely played from FPX, who have done a lot of work at keeping the pressure on these structures. A lot of that's often been on Assume and Jway, actually. Good work from them. Towards the Herald we go. Bot side. Grandmasters might burn. Potentially a bit of a chunk here. The Maiden, the Mist being attacked. The last rights comes on down. She's got to be a bit aware of this extended trade, though, as the Maiden keeps autoing away. Now the turnaround. Glacial Prison comes on in. They'll get some damage onto Aki. Needs to back away. Solar Flare lands onto Asu, but a flash on forwards. Can get the Permafrost onto PP God. Needs to keep backing away. Slow down. Round one forwards. On to Leave. Who's going to have to keep running? But where do you go to? The Supercharger just doesn't have enough gas. Shadow in a 1v1 with Aki, who presses Q. And down goes the Sejuani. Little split off from the team there. They tried to bite off absolutely everything. Solo kill, got solo killed all the while, though, I'll note. Sheer got him. The flash clearly enough in the end. And the turret goes down as well. FPX winning on both sides of the map. Although Shadow, maybe he didn't need to go that far off. Mecha throwing some dancing out. That emote earned by Hype Train that Mecha helped significantly bankroll, if I remember back in the day. By back in the day, I mean like a month and a half ago, but there we go. The Danger Dance comes out. Glacial Prison landed. Man, they nearly killed off Aki. I can see why Shadow went to try and look for that. But then the team kind of splits a little here. So Shadow, I'm assuming, goes for PP Gods and Aki and kind of just goes too far on both. Gets a little bit baited. Aki still had the Cyclone. There's enough CC. He goes down. Good work from him. On the other side, this is what happened after the Grandmaster's mic was popped. I think, hang on. That Maiden in the Mist might make things a bit interesting. Solo kill steps forwards. I'm assuming it's just a flash counter-strike him. Maiden in the Mist lands again, or the Morning Mist lands, counter-strike. Stuns off multiple people. Flash to get it active. The kill goes down. The Maiden burns out with the death of the Yorick. Dragon also secured. That ends up being feats of strength, because of course the Herald's still up. FPX in a good position now this game, I feel. 2k up in some very important members. Assume on the Corki with the upgraded steel caps. Scary. The Rise continuing to scale up. Not exactly a weak place to be in. And of course, also Sheer. 1,000 gold up here in a matchup that is theoretically Yorick favored, even if it has become a bit more of a skill flip. At least Aki is a problem. About 1,000 gold. That Warwick. Wukong. There we go. Is going to be problematic. Care. Finds a bit of a route onto PP God. Flashes on in, but Assume well Valkyrie'd out of the danger there. But it comes leave. Flash away from the Cyclone and the Shockwave. But Assume got nowhere else to go. The Grand Entrance comes on down. The shielding is good. He's still alive for so damn long. Finally falls, but he sells his life dearly. Solo kill in danger, but Sheer can't quite get enough. A flash on forward for the slow from the Spell Flux. The last order we're doing, but the Dark Procession does enough to buy solo kill space to get out to safety. What did that end up being? A 2-for-1 in favor of FPX. They full send onto Assume, but Dway and Assume, well, not that easy to bring down. Locket and Guardian. And the Valkyrie from the heavens keeps Assume alive a lot longer than he should have done. The Shockwave Kai'Sa combo does not work. Not properly, anyway. We look again. As initially, PP God gets a bit split, and he flashes forward to try and jump onto Assume, but buffers really well with the Valkyrie. Care comes across, but then they go in with the Cyclone, with the Kai'Sa ult, with the Shockwave, and none of them really land properly onto Assume, who takes until now to fall. Aki gets brought down. It's Shadow who gets it. I think it's a shutdown as well, if I remember correctly. The Eye of the Herald times out, by the way. No one picks it up. The fight took too long. B. It's a bit of a chunk on its way. Who's got a Celestial opposition, so that first proc, not as dangerous it might be otherwise. Yeah, no one got the Eye of the Herald. Exact. Glad someone else is paying attention, Express. But yes, caught it in the back end of that replay. Assume is so strong this game. Leave is the second poorest, well, he's the poorest carry in the game. He's only just above the supports. That's not a good position for a Kai'Sa. Has at least got 2 items, but there's upgraded steel caps in the inventory of Assume, who's dealing with a pretty heavy AD team. Even the Kai'Sa's got, for the moment, majority AD damage. Permafrost onto PP God into the Glacial Prison. Has the Eclipse and the Aftershock timeouts, is now in danger. Aki is quicknessed up into the Rune Prison. Does not get to do anything. Wonderful stuff from Dway and Care to just deny the entire angle. They're going to Realm Warp over to the Atacant. Express on over. Can they do it? Yes, they Atacant. One more mistake for NIP and it's done. Yep, GG. It's going to hurt. It is. Kair's going to keep shoving. Resets come on through. Atakan is in. We look again because basically Leave misses the W. And he's going the other direction, which means PP God here at level 8 is very vulnerable. Celestial Opposition times out. Aftershock's going to time out. Permafrost comes in. And now the Glacial Prison's in. And there's no more stats to keep him alive. He goes down and then Aki is clearing a ward. And then tries to go forwards to jump onto Assume. Quickness, Grand Entrance, Rune Prison, dead. No chance to get a Cyclone. No chance to get an Ember Strike. Oof. Nice selection of skills there from Dway and Kair. Make it very difficult indeed. 20 seconds on the Chemtech Dragon, the Soul Point, for the side of FPX. 3-1 on 4 is this Corky. Yeesh. Up on 4 from Sheer. Ooh, my days, he might just go for the solo. It's a 1v2. Can't quite get enough damage. Doinb managed just to ult and get away. Sheer flashed for that, but hey, reset's now going to be forced, and now Aki's in danger. The quickness is in. And this Wukong's just not tanky anymore. He's got Merc, tries to deal with the CC. And, yeah. Assume does not do magic damage right now. Change that a little bit on the Corky. Yes, I know Force Bomb does a bit, but all the same. Muramana transformation is now through. It wasn't even complete for that burst. Yeesh. Aki's really going to need a Sterax. Because otherwise he's going to keep getting popped. I know he's got to look forward because unless PP God is there, no one else can face check. When you know that Solo Kill and Doinb were top side getting 1v2, you already knew you were going to be at a numbers disadvantage at the minor. Minimum? Minimum is probably the actual correct term for that. Found the phrase within the English lexicon that I possess. What are NIP going to be able to do from here? Just don't really know. We need to hold on probably and get to another item on the Kai'Sa. Got the second item on Doinb. A big shockwave, honestly, onto Assume plus one other carry that leads to their deaths. You can get rid of the Jax or the Rise with that. That feels pretty good. It's easier said than done though. Roa, Seraphs, Chainlace Crushers for Kair is a lot of shields, a lot of resists. You're looking at the Jax. There's a Zhonya's in there. That's not easy. Assume, bit more doable. But even then, not that easy. Each way goes on in. Maybe this is the moment. Doinb looking for that shockwave. Can't quite find it. PP God. That Solar Flare wasn't good enough. Glacial Prison down. And it'll be a longer-term life sentence for him. Aki with the Cyclone gets a bit of a knock. Has to flash immediately out. Knock up on the ship, but gets to back on away. The shockwave. Airballs. NIP were having to look for a miracle. No one up there was listening this time around. Baron's up. You've lost so many of your tools. Are we just turning to Baron and saying, come fight us again, you dare? So, An invade into the red side jungle of NIP. Control wards being put down. Vision being placed. There's that one ward over by the honey fruit. It's buying a little bit of space there. But Care at this point is such a menace. So's this Jax, to be honest. Sheer is going to be a problem on one of his iconic picks here in the Jax. Shadow. Needs a little bit of poke, but again, he just doesn't care. The Glacial Prison lands onto PP God. Quickness, Battle Dance. The Shockwave's okay. But you chunked way to half, that's it. That's the prize you get for a tier 2 and a support going down. NIP, I think you need to check the terms and conditions. That prize draw sucked. NIP never win red side? Yeah. It's true. Baron not started. Banshee's Veil now for Care as well. Oh boy. How on earth do you kill this Ryze on a regular basis? Spoiler, you don't. Dragon, 45 seconds. FPX looking to set up around that will be sold for them. More tenacity. Because that's exactly what NIP need to deal with. Leona's going to be doing next to nothing. Value out of being low HP as well. And you've got a Jax, a Ryze. Yeah, that's not bad, actually. It's really not. Realm War. Care. Just threatening. Throw some Spell Flux. NIP. Face checking in. Far side alteration spots some way onto the side, though. It's only onto PP God. The counter-strike onto solo kill. Aki gets over the wall. 2 seconds on us soon. The quickness being down, though, as is the Realm War. Potentially a big deal. PP God goes forward. Shadow pretty damn tanky, though. Will take a little while to go. Glacial Prison back as the Arctic Assault in. Dwayne gets the knockup. Tries to escape. Aki looking for the kill. Leave it to the backline. They will lose Aki. Leave trying to play it out. Flash forward for the Heartsteel proc. The Shockwave is good, but Asu gets to flash away. Sheer runs at the robot. And she dances no more. A Valkyrie over solo kill. Who is left enjoying the flames of hell as he's sent to the ability's namesake. TP to the bot lane. Care doesn't care about the dragon. He wants to join Sheer. They're ending the game here and now. Fun plus Phoenix managed to come away with a lead in the early game. And NIP run out of answers. A few too many mid-game fights went against them. And do and be nor leave nor solo kill had anywhere near enough damage to be the answer. PKB God has respawned as soon as low, but my god, does this Corki do damage? Good God almighty! Another force bomb. Hate to see the yield on that one. It's a megaton for sure. And FPX find themselves at series point. The center is 80 carry. Joy is a big bard player. A little bold, locks it in. Okay. Okay. Have we had a bard game from Jway yet this split? No, we haven't. It's been hovered so many times. It's yet to be played. So it'll be his first look on the champion. See how he does with it. We know how that works then. The Senna will be left to farm what she can. Pick up a few souls. It might even just be the Bard getting the early farm. Getting him towards the first item. Very obnoxious on Bard, actually. He does scale surprisingly well. Bottom tier team, Senna Bard. Surely it can't go well. We have a game 5. Is Akali as good? Yone not great? Who knows? Here we go back onto the rift. Let's let the crowds yell for what could be the last time today. Vasu wants a fun fact. Let's see if we can give a League of Legends fun fact. What is a good League of Legends fun fact? Oh, yeah, I've got one that will embarrass the designers. The designer of Briar, one of the artistic designers of Briar, of all champions, had to spend a long time looking up the anatomy of rabbit feet for Aurora. And the whole Riot team have been making jokes at the poor guy's expense ever since, because he went from Briar into Aurora feet. Which is hilarious. So there you go. He's known as... So Riot know what they're doing. That's all I'm saying. There's no recovery from that as a designer. You know what you've done, yeah? It's genuinely in the Aurora, like, design questions post they did. Does Xayah lays eggs? They actually answered that, and the answer is no. That's also got answered by Riot. Officially no. But, you know, Riot, there was an Ask Riot AMA, and Riot officially said no. Sorry about that. There you go with the link for the answer. Oh, you were, weren't you? Way back in their day, trying to the LPL streams. Hang on, violence happening bar. Look, people have burned heals. Dwayne is soon trying to trade out. Leave a little low. Auto Q. The piercing darkness comes on down. Dwayne gets hit by the soul flare. Not the reactivation. There's some questions about what the... Hang on, we've got some violence are going to carry mid. Aki level 3. Shadow here as well. Did roam through mid, so it ends up being a bit of a muchness. Aki with a Q into safeguard to banana his way through mid lane. Kites. You're going to have to link that one in the Discord because I refuse to believe that's a statement I just read. Surely not. I won't repeat that until I get official answers. But yeah, oh yeah, Dway's using the carrier skin. But yeah, the Angel food block is Angel actually has the mid laner from Edward Gaming currently. Has got a food blog where he constantly posts about the food he eats and stuff. It's a really good food blog. It's LPL Angel. Yes, it is. It's very, very good. Very entertaining. Yeah, he's on EDG this year. Was on Angel in years past. I think he was on OMG in years past. But yeah, he does a really great food blog. And Mo, we had a few people in Onivia's chat yesterday who were like, wait, you watch the Angel's food blog too? There's quite a lot of enjoyers out here of the food blog from all over the place. Aki looking mid lane again. Just picks up the scuttle grab, looks again at K. He's been through twice, not found anything. Looking to potentially get to the reset on Raptors. Shadows coming on down. Sidestep some of the stuff. Dark and daggers coming on through. Everyone's roaming. Shadow has to be a bit wary. They can turn potentially onto PP God. Gets a bit of damage back as Leave comes in. Call the pack comes on through. Assume gets a big piercing dart through multiple people. It's an absolute cluster mess as they get 1-for-1 right now. Leave on the other side as Dwayne in danger. Flashes back over the wall. PP God needs to flash away. The piercing dart is still not quite enough. Flash on forwards for the auto. Gets another 2-for-2. Now Aki in danger. Who died? The jungle and support on one side. Mid and support on the other. Ends up being a very even state of affairs. Flash is blown wherever you care to look. Leave held onto his, which is important. Is resetting on a ward here, so Leaf's just going to interrupt him again. Weirding comes on through. Across the veil they go. That's actually going to be potentially problematic here. I don't think DoMB's going to be able to get enough of a shove to get that much out of this. But there you go. Care gets 2 kills. That's important. On the other side, it is 1 for the Lee Sin, 1 for the Silas. So not a bad spread for either team. PP God in, it does get kind of run out there, and DoMB and Aki go in, Bash Brothers style. And Shadow bleeds out, but Dwayne gets at least some damage on one side before flashing back over, and Aki will get over in the end to pick up at least one back. PP God can't survive, and Bard makes sad chime noises. Yeah, like Solly, it's funny. And it is a very funny quote, however, that I don't know if I want to give that word free pass. Trinity. Yes, yeah, I saw it, Solly. It is very funny. Hang on, vital lore information about Jhin. There's a dragon going down. So this is from a legit Riot dev, guys, about Jhin. So this is from YOLO Shake that got posted to Jhin mains 5 years ago. Are we getting 5 spots? I know we're not. Okay. Quote. If you ask me, Jhin does shave his balls. Let's think about it. He really likes to dance. There's violence happening. I took it fine. Okay. Wow. Try that again. Good kill mid. That was important. That's good. Care gets shut down. Don't gets the kill. That's good news. And they also get the feat of strength towards martial mastery. That's important. However, if you ask me, Jhin does shave his ball. Let's think about it. He really likes to dance, and he shows that in game when you make him dance. Those moves show that he actually enjoys his dances, and all the wear type bands don't shave everywhere. So in short, with bold metallic, I will say yes, I do think that Jhin shaves his balls. Officially from Riot. Topside, violence is occurring. Assume gets kicked back. The Dragon's Rage brings him down as we give that incredible official Riot stance on Jhin. Nice pick there from Aki. Yeah, I got nothing. I mean, don't know what to tell you. Well, there's a bit of an engaged bot side chick. Knocks away. Solo Kill won't find that jump on forward. Solo Kill doing pretty well here in the 1v1. Doing as much as he can to get value here in the lane and become a legitimate threat. Silas getting ahead of the Aurora is good news for NIP, though. Early stacks on the Dark Seal, early kills. That's good stuff. Aki as well. Getting ahead on the Lee Sin was going to be asked to. It is that late pick on that one is important. That's official Riot lore. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm moving away from it. Anyway, there you go. Fun fact. Do you get any sponsors from Riot to do a cast like this? Unfortunately not at the minute. Riot give us the rights and that's about it. Now have to grub to NIP. That's why we're reliant on people coming and supporting us where they can. So for those of you back home who do have the ability to come support us, it is much appreciated where and when you do. Second grub was picked up by FPX. We've got a bit of a fight here. Nice smite from Aki. Earns them the second grub. Wait, magical journey up to safety. Got to keep that one in the brain as a fun fact for NLC casts. Yeah, I could do that. My signal's dying, so I might despair. No, kites, don't leave us. We'll miss you. Well, good damage now done. Honestly, what's the best way to support you guys? That's a really good... So genuinely, the best way probably is if you can sub on Twitch or Prime sub. That's the most straightforward way at the minute. I think there is some donation. We have to talk to Alex about that. And we're setting that up a little bit in the background. That tends to be the best option at the minute, just because it's the most direct way to get to us. We need to set up a Ko-fi is the other thing we need to do. Because I think that will genuinely be a really good way to support us. So there's a couple bits we could be doing to make this more efficient, so we aren't as much. But I appreciate you for asking, Expression. Really does make a huge difference. Get hydrated, yes, boss. You've got your fun facts, Rich Tomato and Vasu. I apologize for that. Yogo, what's up? Hey, good to see you, Thorfinn. How about normal LPL stream for returns? You're very welcome. Rather donate directly than give Twitch money. That's also super fair. Yeah, I will chat with Alex. And I think probably the thing we're going to do this week is get that sorted. Because I think that would be a really good way for people who don't want to do that, the Twitch thing, to have a way to help support us elsewhere. Which would be really good. And bits is the other way. Yeah, you can donate bits is the other thing you can do. You have to give Twitch some money for that as well. Yeah. So, a couple options there. Could set up paid membership on YouTube. Yeah, I could definitely look to do that as well. Recommend me some good movies. What kind of movies do you like, Baba Yaga? Got a bit of downtime, I can think movies. And while you're asking what kind of movies you like, I'll do a little bit of setup here. We've got dragon spawning. I think we might have a bit of violence. Oh, thank you, Tomato, for the bits. Appreciate it. So Aki's going to start that one up. I don't think FPX are going to be in position really to contest this. It's NIP who's now had the better part of the last few objective setups, really. Shadow's going to come on down. It's a bit late. Might look for something. The renewal's going to come on through. The eviscerate comes down. PP got to lose a lot of his HP bar. Upshot laser does jank. Land. Dway gets over the wall. Magical journey. Aki now in danger. Has to flash. Wonderful tempered fate. Aki about to burn out. That gets a reset onto this Neferi. Doombi in danger on the back end of this. Gets jumped on by the Hound's pursuit. Leaves left out to dry now. And Doombi, where do you run? Flash away. Does keep him out of range of the cosmic binding. Now he's trying to try and jump away the Abscond. The Abdug tries to turn back around. Gets a decent amount of healing and dies. Shadow gets it. Dragon. I'm not even sure it was secured there. When Pilt Gaming becomes massive, will you create your own currency? Pilt coin. We'll have all the meme coins available, because I feel like that's an esports staple. Does the loser of the series get eliminated? Yes, they do. Yes, they do, Lock. But look at this replay again. So Dragon was secured there by Aki. This got awkward, though, because this Tempered Fate means that Aki has a horrible time. The Dawning Shadow means he dies. Just about tries to kick away, but the bleed and the dogs bring him down, and that gives a reset to the side of Shadow. And Doombi and Leave are now really split off. Leave dies, and then Doombi tries to run away, but you've got a magical journey. Flashing out the cosmic bindings all well and good, but everyone comes forwards. Doombi can abscond all he wants. He gets to abduct back, but there's no way out at that point. Very well team fought there from FPX and Dway. Clean hands on the Bard. It gets a lot of souls to Senna. Such a little ways behind. You tend to hit about 70 odd in pro play at about the 20-minute mark, so should be hitting about that margin, but really it's the 100 break point where Senna really comes online. 140, I think, 120, where a lot of the range break points come on through as well, that are really important. Yeah, appreciate it, Cynic. For those on YouTube and stuff who do have Twitch Prime but don't use it, consider dropping here. Just make a huge deal. And again, thank you all for the support. It's not taken for granted. And I appreciate you guys asking what the best way to support us is. And it is much appreciated. Top side. Bit of a race for first turret. More grubs to NIP. But FPX still very fast, even with the Senna. But Shear's done a lot of work here quietly on this Jace. 25 odd CS up. Gets that one done. Nice work. So we're likely to have BLG versus IG first round of playoffs. Potential banger. I mean, yeah. Really could be, actually. Good call, Karzal. I hadn't looked at the potential flow chart, I guess, of where teams end up. But if we get that one, my days. That could be very significant. I mean, it depends a little bit on who first round opponents and stuff are chosen as and all those kinds of things. But yes, I believe that's a pretty likely scenario. Static Shiv on the center for a bit more guaranteed wave clear. You know, if you're going to do farming center and you're into a lot of shove, you know what? I don't hate it. It's not a lot of damage, but it is a lot more utility. And Senna's one of her big weaknesses. In fact, her wave clear kind of sucks. Yeah, this Senna can actually get some farm down. I think it's not the... I don't hate the tech, I think, on theory. It's not going to give you damage, but it is going to give you wave control. And into Zeri Karma, you might just say, look, I just need to be able to fight the shove a bit. Aki trying to fight over vision. It doesn't get that much success, unfortunately, for them. Fight for the next objective. Probably quite important for NIP. Leave needs to be a bit afraid of a straightforward from Shadow. Spark Surge over the wall keeps him safe. Aki throwing out a Sonic Wave that goes wide. I think Shiv has a pickaxe in it. Yes, Karzal. Let me double check for you, though. Oh, hang on. Bit of an engage in mid lane. Aki. Between Worlds goes down, as does the Tempered Fate. Care needs to flash away. The Dawning Shadow does some work. Aki gets a kick, but only forces Assume back. They kill off the Bard. But the health bars aren't fantastic for NIP right now. Doomby looking to go forward with his own Between Worlds. Tempered Fate Between Worlds. Kind of a little bit misaligned there. I think we feed to strength out to NIP. Bard down for the 4 seconds. Can get here a bit faster, of course, with the Magical Journey. Shock Blast lands onto Leave. That could be important. Half his HP bar now missing. Down to 4k HP, looking to go forward. Stolen Between Worlds. Gets doing the backside. He misses and ducks! That means he's going to die here. The daggers get him. Herald going down. 1000 HP. Feature strength available. Flash on in! It's secured. Not quite in range for Shadow. The Eyes are going to be able to pick it up. The fight afterwards looking dicey. PP got flashing away. Gets a bit of a speed up off the Nimbus Cloak. Can Shadow find some daggers? Won't quite do it. Can't find the resetting Leave over the wall. We'll be able to get back to base. Feet of strength secure, but the fight afterwards got very dicey. Ends up being a 1 for 2 in favor of FPX. They might get this turret topside as well. Sheer sticking around, gets the demolish, proc backs off. Shiv Cleaver has been her meta first 2 on this patch. Thank you, Onrux. Again, I've not necessarily looked. I can see it. I can see it. Been seeing most pro games since the changes. Okay. And yes, it is Pickaxe and the Scout Slingshot and the Rectrix. But went in to try and smite fight that, but Aki with the smite secure of the Resonating Strike and the smite does enough there. Appreciate the thoughts though there, Onrix. But yeah, Shiv gives you wave clear, it allows you to farm more efficiently, which is good news for Senna, whose wave clear is often notoriously not fantastic. Eye dies. Yeah, they didn't pick it up. Fight over the dragon. Tempered Fate buys time. In comes the call of the Forge God. Leaf brings the lightning down. Shadow may need to Magical Journey out to safety and does. Dragon secured. That's second dragon for NIP. Care potentially in danger. A stolen Hound's Pursuit. Gets a reset for Doomby, who goes in himself. That's going to be damage again onto the Neferi. Steals her ultimate, just uses it better. Last Embrace into the Dawning Shadow. Not quite enough to bring down Leave, who flash barriers to stay alive. Damage now from Zoom, though. Oh my days, this Senna. Doing a lot of work. Keep up. Pressing as in goes Aki. Regrets his choice. Another Last Embrace. And a warm hug from Senna will leave the Lee Sin in the dirt. 2 for 1. Health bars from NIP are going to force them to reset. Doomby's around. Can they wave clear? Can they look for the Chain Lash? Not going to be able to save the turret, though. So in the end, Dragon for turret. An extra kill over to NIP. Second item now brought for Leave. Good fight from Doomby. I'll give him that. Stolen Hound's Pursuit was foul. So Tempered Fate stops the dragon for a second, but the Call of the Forge God's going to come on free. And the Flash Magical Journey, Shadow gets exhausted. They tried to run away at this point, and they go, okay. Care goes Between Worlds, and then at this point, Leave still with the ult running. Can't escape as Doomby gets the Hound's Pursuit and then going himself and blows up Shadow, which is hilarious. Leave gets that kill, and that's important. But then the Last Embrace lands, and that gets really scary. Forced to flash and barrier to stay alive. Tries to reset and does, but it gives Zoom a lot of license to step forwards. Can't quite kill Solo Kill, who gets shielded by Karma. But then Aki just goes too deep. Another Last Embrace. And he goes down to A, picks that one up. You can see the fans. Pretty excited on that one. Sheer. Knocked up. Tempered Fate comes on down. Hang on. Do they want to turn this around? Shock Blast a little early, though. Although the shield might have kept them alive. Between the safeguard. Still, though. Denies the potential look in. Eyes, I think, have to turn towards this top lane where the Jace is getting quietly very, very scary. Yes, this Zeri is strong. Senna's farming, so you are looking to match. But again, the Senna, 77 souls. Got the Rapid Fire, not the Black Cleaver, interestingly. Trying to stay away from some of the melee champions like the Silas and the Lee Sin, who are going to be trying to punish you overstepping for autos. Means a little lower damage than might otherwise be. But hey, Assume, trying to pick up as many farms as they can. About 80 souls at 20 minutes, not bad going. Doomby has a kid. Yes, he does. He's married and has a kid. T1 is likely out of MSI, I'm afraid. We'll see. Yeah, it feels like probably Genji or a Lock. And then someone like HLE. Maybe a T1 could squeeze in there. course, the winning of the first stand changes things around a little bit. But yes, Doinby, I believe, has a kid. Zeus got carried by Faker Goomba Carrier. I will highly disagree with that. I think he's been one of the most consistent top laners in terms of carries in the world for the last 3? 22, 23, 24, yeah, 3 and a bit years. Hands dipped most people in the world. There was a point where Bin did it, but again, he was very ill in that 22 World Final, so I give him a bit of a pass there. And he won 2 World Finals after that. Bit of a weird split in summer and spring this year. I don't think he's been bad. I think he's been pretty good. I think Keen's been better this split. But if you're looking at who's been in contention for best top laner in the world for the last 3 years, it's been Zeus, Bin, and Keen, realistically. Maybe 369 at some points. I think Bin's had a bad year. Oh dear, Magical Journey's interrupted. Kick away, Way goes down. Nice interrupt. How did he get interrupted? Was his solo kill just charging into the wall? Oh dear, that one sucks. Top lane hasn't been a carry role since 2019. Look at Keen, Zeus, and Bin. Highly disagree at the top level. It's been one of the issues. As you come to international tournaments, and the top laners that can carry do. And the other top laners go, well, shit. So I think that's objectively not true in terms of our winners of the tournaments. In comes the Call of the Forge God. Turret taken. Atakan as well, though. Was brought down there as a result of Dway falling. At least they do get a bit of a cross map down, and that's something. Dway getting caught there. Gonna be a little ugly. I'd take 369 over Bin this split. Yeah, I'm not even sure Bin's top 3. I think Bin's been really poor this split. Shy clears them all. Well, maybe at some points. I think, for me, Zeus is probably the GOAT top over the Shy now, just because a lot of top laners who were really good fell off a bloody cliff. The Shy went on to become very inconsistent. Keen's probably the one who's been the most consistent. Peak the Shy clears? Maybe. Even then, I think he was quite hit and miss. The 2018 run where IG won. Tell me you didn't watch the LPL in 2018 properly if you expected the Shy to be as consistent a world as he was. He was really, really, really damn good. But we all knew he would flip. And to be okay with the Shy doing that, and then not say Bin 369 Zeus, Keen, having similar moments, is a little disingenuous. Top lane, when you're playing carry at its best, asks you to hand check and trust yourself to be better. Keen is most consistent. I think he probably is at this point. That's very true. But he's consistent. Yeah, I agree, Mo. I think Keen has pretty much, especially with Bin having a bad year, I think Keen having another really good year is really helping him again. I think, frustratingly, his international highs haven't been there in the same way. But I think there is a conversation to be had and arguments to be made, which is really exciting in some ways. Sana's online now. Yeah, she's got 90 souls. What's she building towards? Infedge? She does get crits off her soul stacking, doesn't she? So, yeah, that's gonna suck. Doesn't have Black Cleaver, so her ability to shred armor's not really there. But you've got it on the Neferi, and you've got the Cyrildas as well. So it's not your out armor pen in general. I think the Ornn's gonna be a bit annoying. All right, Call of the Forge God's going to come on through. Turn around, Dawning Shadow, Tempered Fate. Kind of does work a little awkwardly there as Leaves slides over the wall, but means he's not in the play. Sheer looking for the angle. Big ults used. Big ults used. Dway, Assume, Care, all down theirs. Doinby down a stolen ult. Damage back onto Doinby there as Shadow gets a lot of Dark and Dagger damage down. The bleed's coming on through. Solo kill down his ult, and actually Leave trading up with Care, who has to flash away when looking at Leave and regretted it. All the while, look at that! There's a fight happening with Shadow and Aki, and Aki wins it! What happened there? Bizarre choices. Looks like there was a magical journey and Shadow just went too far. Did kill off Doinby though. That's why he was there. Shadow went 1-for-1 with the mid laner. Hoping we get a replay. GA is done for Leave. No Infinity Edge third, by the way. Upgraded Wild Arrows courtesy of Ornn, but wants a defensive tool so he gets more time to play out these fights. So initially, a lot of damage comes on down. And Duobi looks to back away, and Shadow must just go for the... Yeah, he does. He goes for the Hound's Pursuit here. Call of the pack. Into Hound's Pursuit. Duobi flashes. Gets bled out. Oh, flash eviscerate. Not bad, Shadow. And then the redemption's just a little late. Maybe if it started channeling earlier, might have given the license for people to come over. Won't quite. Infinity Edge now done for Assume. This Senna is going to be such a problem. Zeri's not exactly weak either. Robert with the EDG Angel food blog again. Oh man, the food blog's back again. Onivia's chat loves that food blog. Can't blame him. Shadow. Looking bot here with K, splitting off. Solo kill. I don't think it's going to be able to defend this turret. Nice W from Shadow. The wave is gone, though. So maybe I take that back. However, FPX are in the enemy jungle. Very happily putting down loads of wards, getting a lot of control. This Jace, again, quietly. Very scary. 70 CS up. Good engage from Solo kill, though. Goes looking for Care, who doesn't quite get out to safety. Aki, very deep though, needs to get back. Just back into the last embrace. The damage is in danger. In comes the Hound's Pursuit from Duobi. Needs a reset, can't quite find it. Leave, run into the wall. Doesn't get the damage he's looking for. Away goes Tway, but does get that reset. Shadow about to fall. He gets another. Lightning surge forward. Won't be able to find Tway, but 4 people dead. Dragon is surely NIPs. Can they look for Baron instead? They might just ignore it and look for Baron. I thought Leave had been rooted in place long enough for the escape to come on through. Oh, no, 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 no. Zeri gets to pop off. And that will be a break point. You have to field turret and kills. And Baron. Maybe FPX can let the Dragon on the back end of that. Force a fight off. It's not the fastest Baron take ever, actually. So over we go. We might go again. So initially, Solo kill finds a decent engage. With the Call of the Forge God, and then you think, okay, we can try running away. Care gets caught again on this Aurora. It's really struggled to get the between worlds to properly work. Shadow gets that reset and tries to run around. They can't quite kill Solo kill. And then Lee finds a really good moment here. Tway gets the Cosmic Binding, but another wonderful knocker. Assume failed the flash. Failed the flash. I'm not sure would have saved him anyway, but still. Just after we were saying, look, this Jace been getting huge value over the Ornn. Ornn finds an insane sequence. Dragon was picked up by FPX. They've got Soul Point. They'll need to hold on through this Baron. Not give up too much, and maybe they can play for Soul. Cloud Soul on Aurora, on Neferi, hell, even on the Bard. Feels pretty good. Knock up, exhaust, sheer. Needs to be a bit worried. The Summoner Spellbook buys us a bit of time. Solo got to flash away. Last Embrace lands onto Aki. Means he's not getting involved at the moment. Call of the Forge God is going to be Call of the Pact. In they go with the Hound's Pursuit. Eviscerate away. Aki into the backline. Flash on out. They get the kill on the Ornn. Care gets that with the assistance of Jway. Do and B now in danger. Shadow resets and tries to get back away. Calls the pack. They're going to get the turnaround though as Leave is just killing them all. He's got the Quadra. Say it with me, folks. Pentakill! Zeri! Rubber stamp it. It's certified. That's the game. And it's got to be looking like another pentakill for Leave. Another Zeri pentakill. He picks up another. We've had a few this year. Looking like it'll be another MVP for him. The game was close until it damn well wasn't. Let's go. 1v1. Doomby on one side. Ooh, new 1v1 graphic. Let's turn this off just so we can see who the other player is. Cat. Ah, okay. Mid lane v mid lane it is. Come on, do and be my goat, says Jerson. Don't blame him. See what he does. I'm relatively well in these 1v1s. Had a few overplays too. More of the classic champions, but Corky's up. Volley potentially into it. Okay, Volley Bear versus Corky. Ready now for our 1v1 Do&B versus Care. FPX versus NIP. For the potential side select. That's what's on the blind here. That's the prize. Game 5 after that. Snowball. Thundering Smash. Gets the Valkyrie early. Expensive cost, that one. Better HP bar trade back, though, from Do&B. 3 seconds on that. Thundering Smash can go look again. Sky Splitter now up again as well. It's unlosable for Care, right? Says Baba Yaga. We'll see. Be an interesting matchup. The all-ins are better from Care. Extended trades, trickier. You can get your frenzied mauls off. That's all well and good. Snowball. Okay. Sky Splitter, Thundering Smash. Good chunk. Dropping a bit of the wave to make it happen, but hey. You see those frenzied maul, those passive autos heading through as well. Ow. Boss bomb, Gatling gun, auto attack. Yeah, that stings. Gonna pick up that healing shrine. Oh, flash jumps on in, barrier down. Can't quite get the kill. Ignite and barrier blown on Do&B. Yeah, now in a pretty precarious position here, actually. Doesn't want to reset if he can help it. He's going to have to. That's going to give plates over to Do&B. Have a much better back. Good rocket. Picks up another. Wave will crash. Be in time here to pick up at least the cannon. Sky Splitter, most of this needs to not fumble. Whoa! Got it. Phew. Auto W did the work. Needs to get the shove up. Phage and Kindle Gem versus Book and Ruby Crystal. Yeah, this sucks. Another reset. Nice. Only drops 1 minion so far. Good work from Do&B. Why are they playing the 1v1? For side selecting game 5. Because we've gone to a 5th game, there is a 1v1 to decide side select. Helps kind of mitigate one side having an advantage. And considering blue side has won every game so far, that's fair. That's a bit of skill to who gets it for that last game in particular. Snowball lands. Care takes it. Gets the Thundering Smash. Valkyrie away. Keeps doing be largely okay. Haunting Guys from Care. Will likely be going towards the Rift Maker build, if I had to guess. Down a lot of CS, though. It's being zoned off very well by Doombeat. Sky Splitter gets some, but yeah, it just gets beyond the minions. Keeps throwing out rockets. Boss Bomb wide. Auto, obviously not, because it's tracked. That's going to pick up some of this wave. Big one comes on in. Valkyrie down. Sky Splitter dodged. Care. Stuck at 20% HP. I'm not sure you can reset there. There'll be a rocket coming in here in about a second. Yeah. Boss Bomb instead. Doombeat playing this out pretty well. Doesn't have much mana. Care missing that snowball. If he'd hit that, that might have been an all-in angle. Care's getting a bit abused here. Good. Continual pressure, continual poke. Zoning off of the minions. Picks up another cannon. Happy to leave the waves. Not pushing into Care. Get a bit of a fake reset to get the wave shoved properly. That's not bad. Gets him something here. Needed that, but that is a 1,000 gold difference. Plus 1,200 gold difference. Oof. Oof. Full Black Cleaver and a Null Magic Mantle versus just the Fiendish Codex picked up. Yeah, this is going to suck a little. I just don't like how LCK not having a finals anymore. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan either. Cleaver over Triforce, yeah, apparently. And a Hex Drinker now as well. Oh boy. Does get a lot of value out of the Gatling gun. But I don't know how many resist Care's going to get from his Stormbringer ult. Backing now. Is this going to be the item? Has to be, right? 1,200 gold will be the Hex Drinker, so there's the Rift Maker. Okay, well, there's that at least. Oof. No boots to be seen. Summoners up. Should bring back Game 5 blind pick. I mean, that was really good fun, wasn't it? Zed v Zed mirror matchup. Never forget. WTF 2 Shens. Missed the minion. Don't miss the cannon. Didn't miss it. Good. Here comes the Ring of Fire. Kill now. Wins you the game. Care misses his snowball. Let's get level 11. Flash on in. Sky Splitter comes on down. Tries to get some damage. Forces Valkyrie out. Doesn't get the full chunk, but there's the Stormbringer. Doombeat, remember, with no flash, gets dicey. But the Black Cleaver diff, and he's still got a Hex Drinker. And the Ignite. Boss Bomb down. Alright, FPX, big wombo combo. NIP, keep the carry alive. Lots of tools to keep the Aphelios alive. If the Aphelios ever dies to the brawling burst of FPX, the Renekton, the Yone, the Zyra all pressing R on you, Ziggs throwing a bomb from downtown, and Aphelios dies. Leave dies without bringing at least 2 people with him. things get tricky for NIP. The Yasuos are flying that ointment, obviously. But that's how that has to work. For NIP, you have Bailout and Maokai's whole kit and Shen and a Wind Wall to try and keep that Aphelios alive. All right, Leave. Let's see what you can do. Do and beat on the Yasuo as well. Skill matchup. Got a couple knockups there. Not many, but some. Onto the Rift we go for the final time today. Crowds, take it away. Throws out a bouncing bomb. Doesn't find anyone in that bush. Do and be hanging around. Trailing smoke. Someone set his hair on fire. I hate this Yasuo pick with all my life, and I have a million mastery points on him. So what's the hate with the Yasuo? I mean, obviously, I'm looking at Yone Renekton. Not exactly a lot of fun. But as a big-time Yasuo player, what are your issues with him in this draft? I can sort of see some. The side lanes aren't going to be that much fun. Control mage is 10 times better here. No, I somewhat agree. Though a lot of them are gone. The Orianna, the Victor off. Ryze is gone. Syndra would suck this game. What, like a Zir you could maybe play? Yeah, maybe a Zir, I guess. Gone for the exhaust. No TP, by the way, as well. Solo kill. Gonna get run at by Sheer here. Twilight Assault. Does a lot of work, but it's not enough. And Sheer just gets a flash at level 1. Oh, no. Wei. Yeah, Wei might have been alright. Have to be a bit wary into a Yone, but yes. I agree, that could have been good as well. I got no problem with LCK and LCP, but here in LPL, the only one I'm waiting. Yeah. This series stresses you out. Yeah. Can be a bit. Last time we saw Set was Ming in 2024 on RNG vs EDG. Oh, gosh. And Ming just wasn't quite with it anymore. Wasn't being quite as deadly as he once was. Fell away a lot last year, unfortunately. A lot of knockups for the Yasuo. You've got Maokai Q, and I think the handshake will count. Nice satchel charge there. Wait, Hex flashing. He's actually blown his flash early. Hilarious. Of course he has it set. Ignite. Looking for something more. Doesn't get the face breaker as the handshake comes on down. Haymaker down. Of course, you are set. Your passive does give you a bit of increased regen. Slap and bot. Flash. Double face breaker. Got the heal out of PP God for that one. Resets early. Gets themselves the refillable pot. Who's the Yone and who's the Yasuo between you guys? I'm the older brother. So I would guess I'm Yone. When we did the 1v1, and we did do a Yasuo Yone 1v1 at an event once, I won on the Yone, I think. Yes, I was the Yone. Oh, Doing B managed to block a little bit of that Q3. The grasping root's not going to land quite either. Doing B going to get chunked regardless. Maokai at 20 CS odds. Let's be a bit wary. Dropped a camp or two by the looks of it, because I think Shadow managed to get an invade off on somewhere. I still got his Grom to pick up, that's why. Hey Omar, good to see you. Delight played it a few times this year. Yeah, I trust Delight to play it. For sure. Roll lane swap. There's a Binding Eclipse available. Gets that stun read briefly. We fought Old Eve or Current? Current, I think. It's a much more balanced champion. Old Eve was fun, but invisibility from level 1 was really, really silly, and her old ult just made you have to play tank, which was kind of okay, but it was a bit silly. I miss having the hybrid scaling. That was kind of cool. But you were basically only gimmick in the old one. At least this one, I think, like the new ult in particular, feels so much nicer and a lot more on theme. DFG Eve. Oh, my days. Yeah, back in the day. Elder Lizard Tank Eve was something else. Exactly. Utterly ridiculous. Still remember Diamond Procs doing unspeakable things on that. Alex Sitch as well, actually, with the Evelyn miss. Thinking about it. Just a shove wave and just disappearing. I had to wonder whether the Eve was still there or not. Third of fellows to the split. 0-2 so far. Jachi and Light. Oh, fair enough. So this is what happened with Aki. Oh. Sapling. Oh, did it aggro the wolves? No. Did he use it to get back to lane? What? Oh, that's cool. Tell me that was planned. Hex Flash. Hang on. Oh, Lee forced a flash. The handshake landed, but not before the charge began on the Facebreaker. So Leave will be down the summoner spell. Nice work there from Dway. Moscow 507. Hell yeah. What a team. My OG team support then, of course, became Gambit. Aki flashing in and steals it. My goats. Gonna die for it, nearly guaranteed. Goes out of Sapling. Will die, surely. Unbinds the soul. Aki's dodging. Goes down. Six picks it up. Topside Way trading up with Leave. He's got some shurikens to work with. Shadowed. It's gonna get turned around. Assume has to flash. Stand united. And Leave stands. Nice work. Will cost Shen here because he has no teleport. But hey, I think he just sticks in the lane and the Aphelios or the Aswell goes bot. All sorts. Have a look top. Did PP God die at the beginning of this? Looks like he did. Ah. So it ends up being a 1-for-1. That's what's happening. And then the continued fight goes on. So in the end, actually 1-for-1. With Shen forced to ult as well. Not as bad for FPX as I thought it was. Who got the kills? Okay, so both carries got the kills. He'll take that. Soon blowing flash, though. That's a bit dicier. Just hex flashing and running at people, my go. Gone for the glacial augment for the increased slow and damage control of the rest of your team when he goes in as well. I appreciate that. He knows his job. Send it. Really, really hard. The moment this set hits 6, he is going to run at full speed at the Aphelios. And because he's constantly threatening, Leave keeps having to drop farm. He's already flash engaged twice. Exactly. Exactly. Care is on a ward. Aki's going to run at him. Needs to try and get his Q3. Nice ult. Flash is still into the Maokai ult. We'll get a decent Fate Seal. Unbinds the soul. Looks to get the Spirit Cleave. Doesn't quite have it. Doomby's going to Q him on Reset. Yeah. Nicely done. Doomby gets it. Fires CS advantage. Topside Way goes looking for PP God. Who's left low. Satchel charge after. Drops him to about 20%. All the while Shadow is taking grubs. Okay, he's going to farm up the enemy jungle. We'll pick up the blue buff. I'll return the favor. Will side of Shadow. Watch how free that's going to be. Get some wards down. There's nothing up to really nab. Maybe look to dive topside instead. Dway has ult. Solo kill needs to be perhaps a little afraid here. The piercing spines. Deadly spines. Deadly spines. Do a lot of work. Should have been more careful. Boo. Boo. In fairness for that Dragon Steel, Q Smite is very hard to beat from a Maokai. It's one of the best dragon securing spells combos in the game. You can Twisted Advice Q Smite. You will be in range of the dragon. You will get, and then your execute with Q plus Smite is a lot. Reminder of the stakes here, folks. You lose, you're done. That's it. Spring is over. You win, join the playoffs, crew. End tweet. Going to game 5 here is a big deal. It was our 2 closest teams in the standings. NIP just behind FPX. It's gone to 5. I honestly thought FPX were going to have this. A little bit cleaner than they did. That game where they gave Smolder the quadrant is going to sting. Last game where Leave again had a really good Zeri game. Could be problematic. It's another game where Leave is potentially set up to succeed. Down a bit of CS here, but he's got so many tools to be a problem. Okay, top side. So yeah, it doesn't get that much value there. He's up a bit of CS, but again, this Renekton's not really been involved as yet. Dragon spawning. Well, he was on a flank angle. Throws down a control ward. Started up by NIP. Overcome FPX. They want to play this. Zig's coming too. In comes Nature's Grasp. And the Strangle Thorns don't really get all that much value, do they? Alongside that Mega Inferno Bomb. NIP walking, claim the dragon back out. Successful heist. Resetting on a ward here. Does 2B want to interrupt it? It might do. Wave cleared. Again. You are a Ziggs. You can wave clear pretty consistently. Gonna have to this game. Aki again looking to punish Care here. Been a very streaky player. Just in general. This Yasuo very well in this 1v1 right now. Care forced to drop another wave. Being up that amount of farm when you are running an exhaust over a teleport as well is very good stuff from DoNB. Look, potential to play a bit more there. Interrupt on Shadow. He was farming away, so we'll just look at this. It's got flash. When's the next taunt coming up? Gonna get the cinders, so she'll be able to walk away to safety. Damage done though. Ouch. The other thing though, is Celicles, they're not on this turret. 3 grubs to FPX, but I think this turret bot side will go the way of doing it. They've run out of wave. Unfortunate. Top side, always gonna get close. Grubs. Might win this race for them, but Yasuo I think was on it just first. Care's gonna try and clear the wave. Delaying some resets, or delaying some attacks on the turret. Flash away from Aki! He goes down to Unigas to kill! And they get first turret. Oh, that's so annoying. Aki's kicking himself. Took turret aggro. And didn't flash early. What was that retreat path? Didn't kill the turret fast enough. The first turret goes the way of FPX. And they got the 3rd kill. So it gets some feats of strength. Oh, no. Let's have a look at this. So, yeah, tries to do something to stop the Fate Seal clearing the wave. And Aki just doesn't flash. Flash early. My head is legitimately in my hands. That could be problematic. Actually important for the side of Care, who's been falling behind in this 1v1 because of the amount of attention that DoNB's been getting. And it gets feats of strength. Oops. Shed at least has Titanic Hydra now. Got to clear the waves in the face of the Renekton a little easier. Herald in 18 seconds. Looks like FPX want to play for it. He could have just survived if he walked up. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think he didn't want to walk towards the Yone, I guess. But yeah, he just chose the worst path out there.
发芽，
Well then, Herald started. PP guard Aki. The rest of NIP looking to come forwards, knock up onto Aki with the Mortal Will. Or Steel, I apologize. Leave. Only gets the one man up, but it does get a binding eclipse onto Shadow. Is that going to be a problem? In comes the Stranglethorns, forces the flash out. Herald secured. Shadow low. FPX throwing out a Mega Inferno Bomb. Ooh, catches 4. Ow. Solo kill. Walking on vision. Assume bombs the wave. Ziggs. Quite a lot. Wait, gets that one with a little assistance from Shadow. Sorry, I got distracted by an email there. Bad timing. Nice dive. Kill onto the Shen, attacking the global. Good work from them. Over they go towards Dragon. FPX with that additional kill. And no ult on solo kill means this is easy stuff now. FPX actually in a very good position on the red side now. 2,000 gold up. Yone back in business. Shadows ahead of the enemy Maokai. Got towards that Liandry's at this point. The Ziggs also pretty scary. Aphelios at least got the one item. And again, it's still going to be hard to kill. If you can pick apart these side lanes, it becomes a bit harder. At least Leave and Do and B do have gold. It's just that Aki and Solo Kill are a long, long way behind relatively. It's unplayable if Ziggs has Infernal Soul. Oh god, yes. Absolutely, Karzal. You are so right. If Ziggs gets Infernal Soul, guys, it is with 4 Infernal Dragons behind it. Hell, if Zyra gets Infernal Soul. Little sentry turrets everywhere, spamming you in AoE. Like, that is just not fun. Unless Aphelios has the right weapon setup, namely with Calibrim involved somehow. Just get outranged in most fights. At least NIP got the first 2 Drakes. Yeah, also true. Yeah, completely agree with that statement in general. Infernal Soul would be bad. Worse than most teams to give up. What is NFA looking for with the Yasuo combo with Maokai Q? Yeah, it's a good split push threat. It's also a great Shen carrier. If you're playing aggressive, Yasuo's a great Shen carrier. He can dive through everyone. He's also a wind wall to help keep Aphelios alive. Especially with the Galio down. And he becomes basically an additional win con on top of the Aphelios. To draw pressure to side lane, the Shen can join you. And look to 1v1 and turn into a 1v2. So those are basically your options. Good combo with the Maokai Q. Good combo with the Shen. Can be a split push win con. Wind wall actually helps keep Aphelios alive versus a fair amount of the poke. I think it can block Ziggs bomb. Actually, can it block Ziggs bomb? I think so. Actually, don't know. Can you block Ziggs Mega Inferno Bomb with Yasuo Windwall? Enjoyers out there know? So everyone's just in this topside river. There's no herald to fight over. Over. There is an attic. Dragon, minute and a half until its next valuable care. It's kind of deep here. He's hiding off vision. They don't know where he's gone. They spotted him now. He's got a blast cone. Dodges the handshake. Little program lands. Nice escape from Care. In they go with the Nature's Grasp. Dway's going to body block it. Leandri's, by the by, from the side of Aki. Gets a decent amount of burn there on Dway. He does use that Haymaker to tank up a bit of the burn. Sapling again onto Dway. Youch, that's half his HP bar gone. Again, you are a set. You heal a lot faster than most people. Oh my god! Mega Phone onto Doenby! Needs to start backing away. They'll stay alive. Solo kill. TP'd in. Kept them alive. But Doenby now at a third HP. Solo kill burned that steadfast presence. Stand United, I apologize. Pete. Haunting my brain, Sheer slides across the wall. Has got empowered abilities to work with. Still got a flash. On a flank angle, they flashed onto the Renekton. Into the ult. They'll try and get to nice, but get to the back. A bunch of heal. They pulled on to leave. Who's trying to ult away, doing his best, but when they've got the Shaymaker to do some work, but the Moonlight Vision doesn't quite land. They're still on the Yatakan. It's all looking like an absolute mess. The health bar's desperately that they can run for it. It's taken by Shadow. Root comes on down. 2 for 1. Oh, 3 for 1. Moon shot in the head. That was messy. They try to pounce onto the Maokai, and rightly so. Let's have a look at it again. Not the Maokai, onto the Renekton. You see the opportunity, the Dominus is out, and they go, cool, we can potentially jump on this. Don't want to walk through the minefield, jump on this. Pick up the kill and try and play the 4v5. They get the ult. Great news. And the key thing here as well is actually Care. Really good ult from him. Brings down Doenby, pops back. The thing is, Lever's the one who picks up every single one of these kills. That Moonlight Vigil going wide is very important. Otherwise, I think it could have been an ace for him. Another penta for Leave. But Leave is now 4-0 on this Aphelios. He's 2.5k up. That Sentinel turret into auto with a double moonshot is massive. Mega Inferno Bomb is big. In goes Sheer! Flash, slice, and a culling of the meek. Doenby will try to get some last breath and is bailed out briefly, but he just can't breathe enough. Leave, though, gets to stand and deliver again. He is unstoppable. Thank you, announcer. 5-0-2. Ends up being sole point for NIP as well. 3 kills to 2. They win out in the kills, they win out in the objectives, and suddenly NIP are right back in it, flashing on to Leave. Strangled Thorns, tries to turn it around, does get shut down. Important, that. Look for this tier 2 now. Big pickup to get. Rylai's done for Shadow. Lots of melee champions who hate the slows. There goes the turret. Leave 3 items now on Aphelios. We asked him to shine. This'll do. Dragon secured. And then Dwayne gets a face break. It's all right. Not that fantastic. It's this moment here for the Mega Inferno Bomb lands where Sheer full sense. Nearly get absolutely everyone here. PP God flashing out was really important. And Doenby at least getting a last breath off, gets some value. Leave gets a final Dusk Wave. And solo kill brings down the set. Another half item, and there's another like 2 people dead there. Crit cloak in inventory now for Leave as well. He's going to be like 90% crit now, hasn't he? Something like that. 75 plus crit cloak 15. Yeah, 90% crit. This Aphelios hurts a lot. No defensive tools to be found. Not right now. It is damage or bust. We've got a Renata, a Shen, a Windwall, all of Maokai CC. Your job is kill people. Everything else is secondary. We are on the verge of a Moonlight Vigil empowered by Infernum. That will look like the most scary fireworks display of your life. Two and a half minutes until the next Infernal Dragon. That would be Soul for NIP. QSS done on Doenby. That's a lot of plants. Hang on. The Zyra rush. It's going down fast. No one's coming quite yet. Dwayne's going to try and zone them off. 8k HP. Aki hasn't got flash. Needs to find his way in. It's being body blocked. Down to 3k. It's burned so quickly. I think they got it. Baron secured the hostile takeover, though. Put Dwayne in a difficult position. Gets the haymaker down. Doing be chunked out for it. Turn around. Fate seal on the back line. But the Moonlight Vigil gets one back again. Dwayne's down. And try and get some damage as Sheer gets a Starek. Drags Aki a long, long way from home. Flashes out the deadly spines. Shot just wide. Baron for 2. Good rush from FPX. Can't quite get anybody on the retreat. Aki's lucky he had his flashback. Another kill for Leave, by the way. Leave is being donated all the farm he can. Sorry, Aki. It's mine now. Aki didn't quite have flash up, Karzul. It came up after, I think. He was very close, but he didn't have it at the start of the fight. It looked like it was almost up, but it really wasn't. We didn't get the countdown or the grey or the black into fully yellow again. We often see on this particular version of the Spectator. FPX still up gold, by the way. 20 seconds or so on Dragon. Void Staff done for Assume. That will matter. Care. 2.5 items himself. Shadow, I think, could actually quietly be a real MVP here. 2.5 items for him, including the Ryalize slows. We can get that onto something like... Hell, if Thalios is on the wrong weapons, could be really important. Sheer. Flank angle here, they don't know. Watch for the Renekton flank. Dominus available. Looking forward, Solical gets the taunt. It's on its way. No, gets rooted to Shimmy. Can look at people on the back line. Leave trying to stay safe on the other side. Big damage on Dway, who's very low. Dragon started up. Sheer not being able to get onto someone like PP God. Unfortunately, Lee, who's got Severum working. Onslaught is there. Gets himself sped up. Does void. Fate sealed. Only onto one by Solo Kill. Is dead. Sheer on the back end. Threatening Doomby and Aki. They do kill the side of PP God and Leave at 10% HP. They have to back away. X Flash from Dway. Looking at Leave. They know where he is. Infernal Dragon picked up. Leave tries to get a Dusk Wave. Empowered by the Severum. Looking to clear up much of the wave as he can, but is hit by a bomb. And a Thalios head, well, it just comes straight off. Deadly Spines, Doomby slowed up by the Ryalize. Flash on forward for another Deadly Spines. The slows. Not quite enough with the burn. And Doomby flashes but stays. Dragon for FPX. They've got the dregs of Baron to work with. 2 seconds. So really none. They can get the tier 2, I think. Turret secured. 3,000 or so gold lead to FPX. And the Dragon. Hurricane, by the way, on Leave. Let's have a look at this again, because Sheer on a flank angle actually just about gets caught by Aki's ult. He walks forward just too early. Leave, also not really a threat. And Sheer cares about no one but Doomby or Leave. Everyone else is secondary. But PP God eats a lot of damage, and Leave here in a second has to front step onto Care. And Solo Kill dying, and Leave in the wrong position means he gets hit, importantly, by the Mega Inferno Bomb. He tries to get the Severum ult to get some healing back, and doesn't. And just goes, screw it, I have to clear this wave. Otherwise, the game could be in real danger. Gets one on the way out, credit to him. All the while, back to life. Strangle Thorns comes on down. Aki's in danger, running away. He cuts the beverage back as he gets saved by the Stand United. Mega Inferno Bomb onto Solo Kill. Doesn't quite land, of course, the Fate Seal comes across the wall. Flash on that Shen, who gets hit by the Q3 again! And he comes in to die. Aki stays alive, but unfortunately for him, his top laner does not. Another turret down. FPX beginning to go through the paces again. Get through those phases. And LIP suddenly on the back foot. The Aphelios isn't involved. The rest of the map is nowhere near as strong. That's a nearly 4,000 gold lead in the jungle. Yeah, your Maokai utility is fine. Baron will be in a minute. Shadow, last time, did that old little trick. Setting up the Zyra plants and immediately ulting them all. Got an elixir of sorcery running. He knows what's going on here. He needs damage right now. Shit. Close up the waves. Gone for the Randuins. Into a Yasuo and an Aphelios. Yeah. Makes sense. Still no third item, by the way, for 2 and B. Oh, hang on. Binding Eclipse. Shadow goes golden. Stays alive for how much longer? It's a root. Onto solo kill. 2 and B looking for an angle. Stranglethorns come on down. And into the back line! Showstopper! Into the Mega Inferno bomb! They've blown up Leave! The combo was there! And Dway! It's 16 feet off the cage in Hell in a Cell! On my desk, the announcer's table is split in half! Wrestler by nature, wrestler by name, Dway finds the way! And Leave is pounded headfirst into the dirt. Fun plus Phoenix will bring down the ninjas in pajamas. Doombee's former team will slay him where he stands. And onwards they march into playoffs, surely. They don't have a wave, no. No, you can't just have to back away. They do. They can't stick around, the health bars are too low. And the respawns are quick enough. Baron it is. Baron it is. FPX thought they had it. You can see what they were pushing for. Baron. Discretion the better part of valor this time around, and I have to cool my jets a little. Dragon in 45 seconds. They've been a bit slow getting over here. This could be interesting. Leave has flash. Deathcap for Assume. Randuin's for Care. Zhonya's for Shadow. There is an Infinity Edge for Doombe now. Let's look again. Because solo kill. He's going to try and go forward on the Shadow. Goes golden. And he sets up the dunk. Mega Inferno Bond lands. And absolute cinema. Michael Bay couldn't write an action sequence like that. Into the face breaker after. Brutal. How did they not keep the wave alive? Doesn't matter. 3 seconds on Infernal Dragon. I think NIP are going to pass on contesting this. Sole point for FPX. A third Infernal Dragon. Because you know what that Yone, that Zyra, that Ziggs with 4 items need? Yeah, you know. More AP and AD. Aki on a flank, 2 and B, trying to find a bit of a way in. Oh, the Mortar Steel into the Stranglethorns. Aki has to flash. Mega Inferno Bomb when you attack solo kill. Not the best combo. Not in the end. Ult from Aki, flash from Aki. Siege commences. Cannon minion is there. Minions come on forwards, and the satchel charge will lead to the inevitable death of the inhibitor turret. Inhibitor itself falls very swiftly after. Care looking for that Mortal Steel, can't read Aki's retreat path. More plants come up. Burn comes down. Stranglethorn's not quite off cooldown again yet. Steel Tempest, wide. Leave, what did you just buy? Elixir of Wrath, I think. And he has to be very angry. He stepped up on the Dusk Wave! Holy moly, onslaught! With the flamethrower. Dway sent to their fires of hell. Experience a little bit more of that. That breaks the shove. Yeah, remember support set is not tanky. There's Leave doing it. Just gets to press Q with Duskwave. Well, Inferno. The Duskwave was involved. Leave. There's that Elixir of Wrath again. He's full build, by the way. More of Malmortius. He needs a level more. That's it. Another Baron. Another Infernal Dragon spawning pretty much simultaneously here. 143 and counting. Shadow is nearly at a death cap. That Zyra has Flame Horizoned a while ago. Will that be the point of difference? It might just be. Building Rabadons on Zyra. Honestly, Vasu, since the changes to Zyra, her AP scalings are a lot better. However, I agree. Void Staff at this point, 4th item into a lot of MR, probably would have been more sensible. There's a reason, like, things like she actually wants a lot more AP than she used to, because she was getting a little obnoxious off raw utility. We'll give her a bit of Baron damage at least. Can't be far off the death cap. Shadow's cow makes him look like he's got his cowboy hat on. It does as well, doesn't it? It's because he's got the referee standing behind him. Oh, he's been yelling yeehaw a fair amount this game, you have to feel. Zyra's been nasty. Doomby. And NIP turn to Baron. They burn it real fast. Shadow's got flash, can get into play this. All the while, they're taking Infernal Soul. They want to try and take it. Q-Smite does the work. Baron secured. Infernal Soul taken. Moonlight Vigil! Oh my god, that hurts. Sheer on a flank angle. Where are they coming on in? Care looking for a potential angle in. Gets exhausted. Has yet to use the Fate Sealed. Doomby. Chunk low though. Stranglefold. It's good! Fate Sealed! Finds to leave! Tries! Bailed out! But to no avail! It's over! Leave cannot do enough work! A triple to the Ziggs! And ninjas in pajamas have to bow out. Nothing left in the tank and leave. My god, did he try? His Aphelios was a thing of nightmare. But the weight of FPX is too strong. And they soar up into playoffs. The ashes of the night's play-in stage left well and truly behind them. NIP left wondering. A number of these players will be wondering whether they have a job next split. What happens for this team? Oh, NIP. So bright in winter. So flawed in spring. An ignominious end to an interesting chapter. FPX walk up and take a bow. They will be heading to playoffs. A team that look lost in winter, to making the play-in stage, to make it to Ascension, to improving all the way through Ascension.